Oh, there we go. Woo! Hey, everybody. It's, we've got Eric Campbell, Jerry Lee Medeiros.
Justin, our mentor.
Justin, make sure we ask him about his tool. We've got Jeff
Justin's
and that Matt guy. Matt Enderley on 2 cameras in 1 room.
All together now.
So make sure you let us know in the comments who's here and who's watching, and we'll just kind of talk a little bit about the show and what we saw. So I thought the show, it was a little small.
It was really small.
Yes.
It was a little small, but
it was.
I had a lot of fun. There was a lot of nice people there. Vendors had time to talk to you.
Well, they did, and because the show was small, we got to see and meet and see so many people and really get to know people, which normally at a show, you're like 2 seconds with them, am I right?
Yeah, no, most of the time the people at the booth don't have a lot of time for you. But, at this point, everybody was there to talk and get things done. And though it was a smaller show, I'm going to say, having gone to some shows, this was not the smallest show that I've been to this year. So there was at least some energy there, and the people were there and talking. Though we do have our first comment, if you wanted to check that out. It looks like there's a certain Matthew Enderley says hi.
Well, hi, Matt. Welcome.
We definitely don't have seated comments.
So,
a customer asked.
Anybody else watching wants to say hi, you could totally do that.
Yeah, say something.
Let us know what you guys are doing.
If you have any questions, we're here at an undisclosed location in an undisclosed Texas B&B.
Having undisclosed, potentially adult beverages.
Potentially.
Undisclosed beverage again this week. I'm not telling.
Oh, we have a couple more comments in. Of course, we have Ramona, who we got to see very recently.
Yes.
Hey,
Ramola.
Hey.
Ramola.
That's
Ramola. I'm sorry.
What is in there?
Yeah.
That's what I got asked the last time.
Close the blinds so no one
I wonder, can you make tea out of marijuana?
Actually.
tea is from a leaf, isn't it?
It is. It's a tea leaf.
And any monetization is gone. All right.
Woo! Let's take that.
We are definitely now for certain an undisclosed location.
Okay, a couple more comments we have here. We have Shayna saying, good to see you all. Shayna Krause, thank you for jumping in. And Letty Walker, by the way, with the sippy jacket, it was signed by everybody. Letty, happy to meet you at the show.
I walked in and she handed me a pen and she's like, sign my jacket, and I just looked at her like, are you going to take it off? She said no.
She turned around.
She turned around. It was less awkward once she turned around.
So, not only did we sign the jacket, we all signed Letty. This is true.
Yes.
But Letty was awesome.
Jiffy.
First big crossover for the branding though, because it was Sippy. Sippy from the Take Up with the nerd glasses on, so super big crossover. Which
with the googly eyes. You can't forget the googly eyes.
There were real googly eyes on it, and which is one of the many reasons why Letty is awesome. So great to see you, Letty. Ramona's asking what's in the cup. Nobody knows.
What's
in the cup?
Oh, come on, Ramona. I don't know why I called you that, but Ramona. We'll talk later.
I just had to bring this up. That's Eric Campbell. Yes, this is Eric Campbell. Or I am Eric Campbell.
Right here.
Yeah, that's
he
me.
looks like 15 feet taller than all of you.
I'm a little tall.
It's like raising the bars.
Hang on just a second.
He's also sitting upright, and I'm slouching here.
This is true. I am
Jerry Lee got the booster seat out.
Okay. Now,
yes.
This is Eric, and you know what? I had someone ask about, like, the picture that I posted of you guys at the table.
Yes.
Someone said, "Who is that with all that hair?"
Yeah, that's what's left of my hair. If you didn't know, I wear a hat for a reason. I'm very much bald on top, and because there are pictures of me out there bald, and they're like, that picture makes you look bald. I'm like, yes, it's a photograph. It will do that. It will record the fact that you are bald. My dad went in his teens, and I went in my 20s. So yeah, that's my wife.
Just gotta use that cording machine and add
it.
We did see.
Your head under there.
Yeah, the yarn cording machine. Hey, I'm always threatening this red tattoo. So
I mean, honestly, I was really excited to see that because I've only ever seen a picture in a book. I was a little bummed. Jerry, one of us asked if it was for sale.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he said that they have 5 of them left and they're all going out on machines.
Yes, this is true. I think those were, I hate to talk tales out of school, it's Toyota machines.
Yep,
They're
Toyotas.
from Data Stitch. They had this looping foot that really was making a very chenille-like corded
It
loop.
does.
And we've both seen it from Bonnie Nielsen's book, Punch, that has that in there. But he's like, here's some technology from the 90s. And we were both like, oh, man, I thought you guys were bringing it back. Because now we're doing all this.
He told me how it worked, that the two presser feet come
Mhm.
together and it creates a loop, and then the needle drives down and tacks the
Stitches
loop
it
down, and then it comes back up. And it does that just constantly, is sitting there moving and moving and looping. And
Yeah.
the one in Bonnie Nielsen's book, though, I think that when I saw that, they were using like because they were using yarn at the show.
Yeah.
This
And
had
I
yarn
think-
in it.
I think if you ran like a Burmalana, or maybe a little heavier than Burmalana, you get a lot more of like that micro Chanel look.
So here's the question: Is
Yeah.
that? Let's look into the trademark on that.
The looping foot? Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. That'd be interesting.
I mean, does it need to come back to the market, or is it not popular?
I mean,
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I know.
Vote in the comments, like and subscribe.
They don't even know what we're like. Okay, so if you guys don't know what the looping foot was, because I didn't. Okay.
We
I
can try
could
race
see
for it.
ZSK bringing it back.
That makes sense to me.
Oh,
yeah. I agree.
oh, that's interesting.
Yes.
What this thing does is Jeff took me over to the machine, and it is a foot that has a round hole in there, and it, like, I don't exactly know how it works, but it goes along. I know
I just
know
told
I'm
you the
right
two
today.
presser feet create a loop, and then the thread comes down through it.
What is in my car?
I mean, we could.
That's what I'm wondering.
We could
Okay,
just put a YouTube
so-
video in the comments.
We need to
But
see if we can get a video. Actually, I didn't get a video.
It
of
looks
it
like
there.
chenille.
I've got
It
some
looks like
pictures.
chenille.
It looks very much like chenille, though. I mean, the loops were really heavy. They were using
Yeah.
yarn, so it was super extra heavy.
Yeah.
I think it looked a little too clunky.
Yeah, and I think
Do you
a
think-
lighter thread like the
Yes,
the
a lighter
Burmalana
thread
would
would look
really,
better.
or you could probably even actually get the chenille thread that they use on chenille,
But,
and it would
but
look a
can you
lot more.
adjust the
close.
length of the loop?
Well,
I
also-
imagine that would be the height of the second presser foot, because then as they
Okay.
come together, you're
Okay.
changing the.
Yeah. The other thing I would be concerned about, though, is it looked like they really were zeroing the yarn with the
Mhm.
needle. They weren't like couching it down, so it may be that you couldn't use something that was super thin. But I don't know.
Yeah, he
It was
did.
really cool, though.
He did. He did say that it was needling.
Just
on.
the needle was
zero.
dropping right
Yeah,
in the
right in
middle
the
of it.
center.
So yeah, you probably have to use a fairly thick cordage. But
They
anyway,
have
if we
five
get
flat
pictures,
thread.
we'll try and post those.
Dear
somewhere.
ZSK engineers in the audience, please make it
Please
so that we
put one
can
on
use that
for the
with the chenille thread.
Yes.
So there are some votes here on what's going on with the cups. Letty just says,
What's going on with the cost?
The cups hold well-deserved libations after such a busy day. That is a
Yes.
nice way of putting these things that we are drinking. But yeah, there we go. I would say barley soda. That's the vote that we're going to
Ooh,
give.
yes.
Uh,
Soda.
Ramona says, Jerry Lee, I have everything caught up except the Bitcoins.
Oh wow!
So there you go.
You should see that logo she was doing. It was like this crazy logo that was like this wide
Yeah.
and this tall to go on a hat. So good
Must
luck.
have been a cowboy hat.
Yeah, right. I'm going to guess for the wide format frame. Okay.
I don't know.
The wide format hat.
Yeah, indeed.
We don't know.
The 10-gallon hat. All right.
Like the Wisconsin cheese hats.
Oh, yes.
So
We'll go with the
White
cheese
cheese.
whiz.
Chris
Yeah.
wants to know, how was the convention?
Yes, Chris. Convention was good. I mean, there was a lot of energy there, though, yes, there were dropouts. If you hear the stories from it,
Yeah.
vendors dropped out, educators dropped out. Some of that did happen, but the people who were there were all
Yeah,
giving
they
good
rocked
show.
it.
Also, I would say we had a session.
Yep.
Jeff and I did a session with
Yep.
Sam Young from Madeira today.
It was okay.
It was really good. It
That was good.
very well
It was
attended.
well.
and
Yeah.
It was well
It would have been
It
better
was.
if Justin and I were there and Jerry Lee. But
I mean,
Well,
if you guys
next
did,
year
I mean,
Convention.
you
Yeah.
and Justin were there, so the only person missing
no,
was
she was
Sherry
there.
Lee.
She was there. Or, wait,
I-
no,
I
didn't.
came
And
in.
ISS, if you're watching, Jerry Lee was not there.
I was at the end. I was at the end. And next year, they're going to do it again.
Maybe.
maybe.
We hope so.
We hope so. Well, we
We
talked to
hope so.
Sam. I told Sam that we were in. So, but I mean, I guess I shouldn't have said we were in. But hey,
Hey, I told him the same thing.
Did
So
you?
it's like we're speaking
Y'all
for
are
each
in.
other in unison.
I guess the crossover episode continues because we're
Yeah,
just like,
we just
oh
don't
yeah,
know.
we're in. Whatever you want to do.
No secrets left.
Let's roll.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
The
roll.
only thing that I kind of
Mhm.
didn't like was that I was able to walk the entire show floor and stop at every booth in one day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
And
That's true.
so then day 2 came, and it's like, well, I've seen it all. But then,
Mhm.
you know, we met more people,
We did.
and that was meeting people was probably my favorite part. For those of you that didn't come and didn't see, we were giving out lanyards and nerd stars, and I really liked it because everybody that I gave one to, I got to actually talk to them, hand
Yes.
it to them, and so
They
a
were
lot of
thankful.
connections were made that
Yeah,
way.
it was
And
fun.
It's good for networking.
yeah, we had a pretty good bump in the group, I think, with the requests coming in.
Yeah, quite a few today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like I didn't even look, so I'm glad Justin took care of it. If you're not in the group, please answer the questions. Make sure you answer
Yes,
all of them, and then
please
you
do.
put in special quotes, ask me about my tool. Justin will let you in.
Yeah, he'll definitely. Justin, could you give us a little side look at that there?
So before we have any problems, once again, monetization, they are.
Ask me about my tool.
And please, now I want you all to flood Justin's box and ask him about his tool.
That's info@digitizing.com.
His phone number
you
is
guys.
783-555.
One, two,
No, it's
one,
not,
two.
We are, of course, speaking about the 3D Puff Pro.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
That's the
he'll
tool,
probably
right?
show
Buy
us.
That's the
monetize.
tool.
Oh, you know what we should do? Now it's sponsored by 3D Puff Pro, and then we got our monetization
Oh, yeah.
back.
There we go.
There
Thank
we
you.
go.
Yeah.
Now-
Luckily, it's only
Is that
costing
what
us
this
one of
is?
us money here.
Let me see how many actual emails about my
After you buy your tool.
You didn't
Yes.
specify.
I love that he
which
just
tool.
said Puff Tool to bring this back off.
Yeah.
Yeah. Asking about my tool stuff. My puffy foam
So-
utilization tool.
Justin, I'm ready for this answer.
Yes.
How many people asked you about your tool?
No one because of my shirt, but I did discuss it with several people at the show. So
And what about people about not at the show?
no, you know, I did get one person. Who was it? It was Eric that asked me about my tool. That's what I got to ask about.
This
my
is
tool.
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
Eric.
Here's the truth. Even in the trade show, with everybody there with as much decorated apparel around as possible, I'm still looking at everybody's shirt and trying to check out the prints. So I caught the print before I guess anybody else said anything.
Maybe they were afraid to ask you about your tool.
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe. That's
They were
possible.
afraid you were going to whip it out.
What's
Oh.
in your cup?
Did have a sample. I mean, you know.
It's empty.
Jerry had it the whole
Do you
time.
want some?
Surely I'm
So,
a tool.
we
I
do have
did have
some.
his tool the whole time.
No comment. All right. Mike Muldowney, save us from this comment. He says, well, Nerds of the Round Table, which is fantastic. And by the way, dad joke. Want to talk about crossovers? Now we have the three-way crossover with two regular guys, I guess. Mike says, know who King Arthur had to design the round table? Circumference.
Oh.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Mike.
Well,
Here, I'm gonna treat you to what all the two regular guys get while I'm producing down in their bottom half. No, Mike.
But you know what's
Then
great?
my
Now they can use that again in the next two regular guys. You know,
There you go.
we'll all know that they used it. It was in both, but
They've never repeated someone else's story. How dare you?
How dare you?
How
Honestly,
dare
I
you?
can't think they'd ever.
By the way, Amy says, so fun to see you all in the same room.
we like it too, Amy. We wish you were here.
We're actually androids. But
I don't know. I'd rather be where Amy is. She's in Hawaii.
Well, then why don't we all go there and be in her
Why
same
in the
room?
world are you watching
Amy,
this
we're
right
coming.
now?
We are coming to Hawaii. All of us. We're going to be in that room.
who's paying?
Ame.
Sponsored by
Sponsored
3D
by-
Puff Pro.
Sponsored by 3D Puff Pro.
Oh, yeah, about your tool.
This is great.
It's the
They don't have to
best,
ask
right?
about the tool. Sponsored by Justin's Tool.
Sponsored by Justin's Tool. Thank you for paying our way.
Yes, we appreciate you.
So much.
Thank goodness we
More
weren't
than you
monetized.
know.
All right, here we go. Mike says, Puff Pro is awesome. I've used it exactly once and can't see going back to without it.
Nice.
Once you
That's
use
awesome.
it, you'll never go back.
That's what I've heard about the tool.
That's
Anyway. Oh, hey. Ramona says, wait, I did witness several of those embroidery grannies, in quotes. Watch that and walk away as Justin passed by.
Oh my
Oh,
I guess
they wanted to ask you about your tool.
I guess we should have been like the internet videos where they spoof people.
yeah.
The old grannies were walking by Justin looking at that, and then they'd stare a little bit, and then they'd turn around and look for the camera.
We should have
walked behind him for a while back with the
recording
camera.
that. How many people were trying to watch this tool?
All right, so we have an actual question, a real question.
Okay, what is it?
Shayna says, "Did you guys learn about anything new and exciting at the show?"
No, not really.
I mean,
No.
there wasn't really anything
No.
that wowing. I don't think. It
I
was-
think like the
Other
only
than the classes.
yeah, I
the
mean
show.
the GSG booth was on fire. They
That
had
was on
all
fire.
like all sorts of stuff
Oh,
sponsored. It was
God.
really
Now
really
that,
cool.
That was on fire.
I know there was one new machine that was released.
Yeah, Sprint 8.
Oh, the Sprint 8.
and then
Okay, so
the
what's
Happy HCS 12. They just came out with their new 12
Yeah.
needle, but I'm not sure on Baradins because I don't have a Baradin. Dear Baradin, if you would like to send me a free Baradin, I will talk about it.
that's
In
what
I'll give you
comparison
$5.
to, I'll give you $5.
Well-
Sponsored by Baradin. I'll say that.
What's on the Sprint 8? What makes that different from Sprint 7?
It is so fast.
Yeah, there's
Like
one
the
more
color
newer
change.
It goes up to
Mechanism.
11.
Yeah, I don't know if you watch it go from needle 1 to needle, I think it's 18,
The
right?
color
It's
changes
18
really
needle.
fast.
It's like, bit.
Oh, man.
The color changes are really fast. I will say they've made it look more like a modern machine.
It
I hate to say
scares
that.
me.
I do, yeah. It looks a little more streamlined, and that's funny because there is like a visual thing to it.
I
'Cause a
was
lot
a
of people
little-
saying it looked really cool. I don't know. I like
It's
the
a
old school
Decepticon.
Yeah,
Just
I
ready.
mean, I looked
Just-
at it and I was like, that's
Tinfoil hat.
I thought there was a lot, it was like a plastic cover.
Yeah,
But, I mean, that doesn't necessarily infer the insides, but,
No.
like they had that kind of funny glass on the back and then it said Sprint 8 across that.
Yeah.
It just,
for me, I don't find that to be particularly, all that compelling. But the funny thing is, I heard other people who are more comfortable with prosumer machines say that now they've felt themselves more interested in it because it didn't look like an industrial machine.
it didn't look scary
That's
anymore.
interesting.
And actually, not that I'm calling it out, Lisa Shaw told me, she's like, wow, that machine looks really cool. And I was like, huh. And I'm like, is it because it has it looks more like a product? It looks more like something that you might put in your house than something that goes on a warehouse floor.
Mm.
And I felt like maybe that's calculated for them. I do know there's a bunch of
Interesting.
mechanical improvements, and it is way fast. I mean, I
Yeah.
saw one running at 1200 like a champ.
Wow.
They are incredibly fast. Though I'll say that's the same thing. The sprint that I'm running is incredibly fast. I was shocked. I was running like Sierra Metallic at 1,000, just spooling it off.
Beautiful.
It's crazy. They run really fast. So
I mean,
that was
I know,
cool.
like, I went from a machine that I couldn't run very fast
Mhm.
to a machine that I could run much faster.
Mhm.
And I still find myself turning it down because you get used to that thump, 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 thump,
Mhm.
thump,
Surely.
thump, thump.
Mhm.
Well, also there's some quality stuff that when you speed up too much, there's still thread lash, there's still
Mhm.
tension on
There's
the
that
fabric.
distortion.
There's some distortions going to happen, though. You can tune out of some of that, but
Like,
no. Just don't listen to it. Just don't look at it, and it all looks great.
Yeah.
Close your eyes, and you're fine.
That, I hit the start button and turn around, I can't watch this.
No, admittedly, it does feel like when you're going a little too fast on a road you've never driven on when you turn it up to 1,000
Oh,
on
yeah.
the wrong
Or
side.
the wrong
There
way
it is.
on a road.
That's
Your
the
hands
word.
hovering.
Yeah.
The emergency stop.
Yes, hovering over the stop button. I've done that many a time.
And the acceleration that it has too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
this is true.
that's
It
good.
does have fast
It's like
acceleration.
thump, thump.
No, it really
I
does.
can certainly hold this patch down and hit the start.
I would.
Yeah,
Wow.
stick your
Oh.
finger down.
I wouldn't. No, the 8 was really fast. It was
Well,
cool to
that's
see.
why Ramona gave us the
The
no,
no prick
Finger
finger stick.
stick.
Named
There you
by
go.
Justin.
There you go.
another tool name.
Yes, another tool name.
I really hope you bought that domain, trademark, all that jazz too. You should have put that on the back. Ramona should have worn a shirt that said, "Ask me about my nose stick." Or
No, no,
finger
finger
stick.
stick. She
That's
was
what
giving
Ramona
those out.
needs.
Did you see those packages?
Yeah, I bought one.
Somebody
I got
diabetes.
Yeah, right. No, I will say the other thing I learned outside of this stuff, I went to Jay Bissell's class this morning, and Jay did a class on LinkedIn. He's doing the second part of it tomorrow, so the show's not over yet.
Yeah.
But tomorrow morning, he's doing the second half of it, and his stuff on LinkedIn, I'm going to go change my strategy on LinkedIn, like immediately when I get home, because he had some stuff in there that, and I've been doing LinkedIn for a long time and doing okay, and Jay absolutely had some content tips that were worthwhile.
That's interesting because I don't even have a LinkedIn.
Oh, and I mean,
I don't
sincerely,
either.
I've
So I'm
got.
going to screenshot yours
Yeah.
before and see what you change, and then change that on mine.
Yeah,
And then you
can.
can
I didn't go to
tell us
class.
You're gonna
It's a
tell
good
us
class.
what you're changing so that
I
we
was saying
can.
a screenshot. You can figure it out.
Well, yeah,
Get it.
for business
We're gonna
to
make a
business
tool for that.
prospecting,
Okay,
he explained the way he's doing local free
I wanna
business to business prospecting was showing you how to get between 12 and 30 leads a month, and it
Oh,
looked
wow.
really good.
Wow.
I mean, I was looking at his lead process going like, I can't believe I haven't done this before. And in fact, I was very sad that I'm not currently working in a business to business embroidery shop because I would have been much happier if I had been. But yeah, no, Jay's class was really cool, and honestly, all the classes were good, I thought. And I mean, of
They
course,
were
saying
good.
that having taught two of them.
Well, their classes.
I mean, I attended both your classes.
Yeah.
One of them because
Well-
we were chatting in the front of the room.
Yeah.
they
Still.
were good though.
Yeah.
But there's
I
no
mean, what I
TikTok
heard from you
class.
guys is good.
No, there was no TikTok class, and I honestly think that is a bit of a miss to a degree. I mean, really, because even when Jay came on, he's like, if your audience is 18 to 20-year-olds, LinkedIn isn't it. You know, that's not where we're at.
TikTok.
I think TikTok marketing is not to the point that somebody understands how to do it to make a class on it. It's just so.
No.
It's bizarre.
It's pretty young, and with the government saying don't get TikTok for a little while, and now
Yeah.
it
Dang
just
government.
yeah.
All right, so we
I'm gonna
have,
scoot over a little bit in case the missile comes down over.
No, they're very precise.
Oh, good. They'll only get him.
you would know.
Right.
Can you tell them to direct the splatter that way?
I don't
Or
want. I'm
just
not
build a
doing
wall.
Build a wall.
So we have a few more comments. Let's get Mike in here. Mike saying, LOL, can't wait to hang with you guys in person one day. Safe travels.
We're certain.
I sure hope so, Mike. Yeah, I'd love to have reciprocator number 1 in stateside. That'd be great.
What if instead of that,
Yeah.
they brought
Yay.
you to
Canada?
Canada
Why don't
to
we
do
go
a
to
show?
Canada?
I'm in.
Oh, why don't
Yes.
you do
Let's
that?
go to Canada.
That's a great idea.
So
How
I
about
think
that?
I've been going throughout this for the call-outs. Hey, Canadian
Hey,
show
Canada.
runners. Hey, Canada. Sponsored by Canada.
Sponsored by Canada. In fact,
And
also
Puckpro.
sponsored by Hawaii.
Indeed. Amy says, yay, come visit.
We're down, girl.
And by the way, somebody else we saw who was really awesome, Cindy King.
Hi,
Everybody
Cindy.
say hi to our favorite Texan.
Cindy won the tumbler.
Yes.
Yes,
Cindy won
she
the
did.
tumbler.
Do you know what this phrase was?
I saw it at the end. It was sippy cup.
Yep.
Yeah. It was,
Reciprocated.
there was a
sippy.
lot of deliberation
And-
between them.
Yep.
And
awesome.
nobody walked up to Jerry Lee and said that phrase, and she just looked at him kind of blankly because she knew what was going on.
Yeah.
We let her know.
Unlike your story.
Yeah.
Whoever walked up to Jeff
And
and
said,
said
cornbread armadillo.
and got a blank look from Jeff.
Please get in contact
Are
with
you
us.
having a stroke?
Do you
We
smell
owe
toast?
you a cup.
We apologize
okay?
and we owe you a cup.
He didn't know what was wrong with you, but it was really him.
Jeff was out busy with Madeira and
Yes.
Eric and prepping for today, and we posted that, and then he happened to walk in at the wrong time,
And
and
somebody found him and said it.
and had a guy telling him cornbread armadillo.
Well, let's go. Who were they supposed to find originally?
Nobody that I know about.
The person that left.
But why did I leave?
Because we posted it saying to find
We said, find Jerry Lee. She's like, sweet. Jumps in the
you.
car.
If you, go,
I'm out.
if you go back to the post originally and check the edit history, you can look at the timestamp.
I'm going to tell you
They'll be
why.
like, posted, and then 5 minutes
Oh my
later,
God.
correction. Anyone but JerryLee, because she left.
Anyone but.
All right.
You should
I
have said
left
that.
to
that
go
would be
get to
And Christine
get
Shreve
barbecue for everybody.
won the first cup.
Yeah, Christine won the first cup.
Yep.
And
Nice meeting her today.
And
yeah.
somebody else won one that we don't know. So, gentlemen, whoever you are, please do get in touch with us.
Yeah,
We're so
please.
We
sorry.
need a mugshot.
That is
Yeah.
info
Send a
at
bunch.
JA.
So,
digitizing
subject matter or subject.
Cornbread armadillo.
Yeah, cornbread
Yes.
armadillo.
We'll do a line
All right.
just to make sure that Jeff gets the right person who it was.
Yeah. I'll know who it was. This is this guy with the look of disappointment.
He's
What?
like-
Mine.
Okay, I just realized, you know how many emails I'm gonna get?
I do the best work.
Yes, we do.
Best
That's
work,
what we
cornbread
do.
armadillo.
People wanted to see my tool. People were talking about cornbread armadillo.
You got to change his domain.
This show was for networking.
What
And
I'm
we had
asking
fun.
for though, somebody please draw the cornbread armadillo.
We wish you
Next
would.
time we have the digitizer say we'll make anything you want for free, We can
We
always
want
send it to them.
cornbread
It
armadillo.
might even be better than
And we'll
Bob.
put it on something for next year's Fort Worth.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
and we're
there we
gonna
go.
wear it to next year's show.
Be like Bob.
Oh.
All right, I have a couple more comments in here. Ramona says, I learned how to make lemonade using my heat press and included an awesome, simple to use formula for pricing. I know that there was no actual lemonade on heat presses, but yeah, I believe that was Josh
I know how she
Ellsworth from
does that.
Stalls. So he taught about how to run a business out of your heat press, and that was pretty cool. So Ramona got to that class. And
Oh
that
my
was
What's
gosh.
your
Fun.
story?
Yeah.
What's your story?
Bulldog on a hat. The end.
Hold on, wait, that's it.
That's it.
That's
Oh my
it.
God.
All right.
Stay tuned for that.
Save me from that comment. Ramona says Marshall's marketing class is great too. Yeah, well, everybody will hear
Ramona went
most
to
of
every
Marshall.
class.
Yeah, Ramona was on it for the education.
Class queen, this one.
Absolutely. But she says, you must have missed one. I have never got LinkedIn. You know what? LinkedIn is best when you are quick with the ban button and don't answer people who are doing what everybody else says. This is what Tracy says. Her LinkedIn is worse than Facebook for digitizer spammer magnets.
Oh,
And
fun.
I'm honest to say, I think I've translated now that I have a managerial title on my LinkedIn. Now I'm supposed to import garments. Because that's what I get is I am definitely somebody who will import a lot of garments and
Oh,
stuff
I
so they can
see.
use digitizers.
Well, when I get a digitizer email, I'll say, please contact managerial apartment at Eric.
I thought you were going to refer
You
them back to me like I did to you. See, my sales department.
Yeah, and this is partially true. Yeah, LinkedIn is more business to business, and she's saying and targeted 45 to 60-year-olds. This is something that actually came up in Jay's class. 63% of the people who are active LinkedIn users are millennials. So no, it's millennials who are the top category currently using LinkedIn.
And you know what?
So that's
Everybody
interesting.
that's graduating from college right now, they look at LinkedIn. They say, I have to have LinkedIn to get a job. I have to put my resume on LinkedIn.
Absolutely.
Huh,
I got
didn't
one.
know that.
Yeah, I've had one for a long time, and I'll say I also still share the LinkedIn groups, and I get traffic from it because a lot of people are still, believe it or not, still getting the emails from LinkedIn groups and have not taken the email section off. And so, if you're the only person left in the channel, somebody clicks on your link.
I mean, I know people that still get Google Groups emails.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow.
I'm surprised
that may or may not be
Well,
Me.
I
me.
send it.
Me.
I have, yes.
You know, here's a very interesting thing. I got nailed on a spammer list, and I just kept getting these emails after emails after emails. And it turned out what this person did to circumvent the system is they created a Google group and added a ton of emails to it.
Oh.
And then they would send the message to the email group and then blast it
Oh
out.
my gosh.
Wow.
And
That's
so
a
they
good
were
idea.
That's
leveraging
like
Google
really uncool.
groups to spam email.
Wow.
Yeah.
That will get everybody knocked out.
That is not
Let's
awesome.
just start putting every single $5 digitizer in that.
So if you guys are a digitizer and you are trying to expand your email list, please ignore the last 5 minutes.
Please don't do that. Yeah.
Don't
for
do
sure.
that. That's what not to do.
That's what gets people very, very mad.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, no, it's true. I think honestly, I'm not going to say LinkedIn is the answer to everyone's problems. I will say if you're looking to get specific business contacts, you have to actively use it. It's not about using it like social media. It's more about using it for link management and mining and actually as it was intended, where people look you up and you have compelling information on your profile.
Oh.
So that's really what it is. It is the resume you were supposed to have. And I'll tell you this, to this day, every time I meet somebody new, suddenly my LinkedIn starts getting attention. So every time I go start a new show, every time I do shows like this, I was getting LinkedIn hits once I had attention on the.
I mean,
Or
if I
stuff
ever
on the
get something of
impressions box,
substance,
and-
maybe I'll start a LinkedIn.
Yeah,
it's
it's
maybe I
worth
should go update mine that I haven't looked at in probably.
It's worth looking at.
Yeah,
So
same,
I
same.
understand. Ramona says, I'll stay where I am. Yeah, it's not for everybody. It's not everybody's clientele for sure. But if you're out there trying to sell uniforming and regular business garments, nothing hurts, by doing some searches and making sure your page is updated once. The stuff we were talking about with Jay was 30-minute stuff. It was not hours and hours. It was 30 minutes once and then do some prospecting if you want to.
Ooh,
And
look
I-
at you, program manager.
Yeah, this is great.
Eric's LinkedIn just got pinned.
Got it.
For everybody that's out there looking for it, it is spelled E-Rich.
Oh, yes, it is. This is
I
great.
do my best.
Fine. 1 hour.
It's true. All right, Shana says she's heading out. Okay, nerds and nerd leader. I forgot that that's still up on screen. Thank you for a good time. Until
See
next
ya.
time, thank you for being here, Shana. Marta says, any good questions asked in the Q&A session? Lots.
All of them.
Oh my
All
gosh,
of
they
them.
were good questions.
And then people don't understand this about me, and I think it's crazy when we get me in one of those, and you might be the same way, I don't know, but when somebody gets me started on a topic embroidery, I do not shut up.
Hold on, you don't
Yes.
know that that's Eric?
I can't believe this may be you, I don't know.
No, this is true. Well, we both were. Well, the only thing that was funny about it is like there were times where I feel like it was just Jeff and me were talking to each other about a topic, and there happened to be people who were waiting to answer
Waiting
this
to ask
question.
a question.
Yeah, we're just like, on top of Jeff's point, also here's this. And he's
To
like,
piggyback.
following back on that, this is
But
what I
you
think
know how
about that.
rich that education was today?
I'll
So,
absolutely.
Five
so we
questions.
need to give some examples though, where there were some really
Yes.
good questions, but we're apparently not going to tell you what they were.
Well, you have to come to the sessions.
Oh, there you go.
So get in your time machine and go back.
No, there,
I mean, there was good, there were
DeLorean.
there were beginner questions, there were intermediate questions, and
Yes.
I do think that there were advanced questions
Well,
too.
can
So
you
it was
give
nice to hit
one?
all of the.
Can you give
All
us
the
one
ranges.
good
well, we could give
example?
the fun one where somebody
Okay.
said, okay, hey, what software machine do I need to get to start up? And this is my actual answer. The first thing I said, do I get to be politic first or do you want to start? Because I was like, we're not going to tell you which machine is the only machine.
Because
to buy.
Eric didn't have the countdown of the half to save him this time.
No, I couldn't save myself without
We gave each other that panicked look, like,
like,
uh oh.
Sam, you can't
This
say
is for
that.
you, Sam.
Yeah.
No, some of the good stuff was that people were like, "Hey, what do you use?" And we both looked at Sam like they're asking what materials we use and what thread we use. We looked at Sam like, "Hey, I was like, Sam's right here, guys,"
Because, well, I
it's
mean, even
Madeiras
then,
panel, but he was fine with it. We
Isn't it-
talked about all of it.
like, they don't like you selling at the show.
No,
And for me, it was like, what do I use? That's like
that
a
feels
brand
like
name. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't want to cross that line of. I mean, if somebody wants to know what my machine is, I'm more than happy to tell them.
Yeah,
But if
yeah.
telling them what machine I have is going to get impressions, not frumpy face, I don't want to frumpy face them.
I think it was all right because we were really even about expressing kind of like the history of everything we'd used and talked about all the different parts and pieces to that. And I think that made that better. I mean, also, hey, we were at a Madeira-sponsored panel, and both of us talked about threads that weren't Madeira's threads. I mean, we were talking about, both of us do tend to use Madeira first, or at least that's
I don't
what we found.
recall that. I'm pretty sure that
Yeah.
I just said that for anybody that might be at Madeira
Yeah.
that may or may not have forgotten what was said at that, we only use Madeira
You
products.
just play
Yeah,
it
of
backwards
course,
really
of
slow,
course.
and it's
And honestly, we talked about the Madeira products, and they were like, "Oh, I have used," and we talked about other threads. I mean, because
Yeah.
we've all used, and everybody's used other threads or whatever threads, and then you're not usually going to use all one brand forever.
And you know what? I was actually going to go into this, and I stopped myself because I'm like, this is going to be another 45-minute Jeff
Oh, yeah.
explanation. But like, there's a brand of thread out there that will not run on my machine.
Sure.
It will run on my other machine. It'll run on other people's machine. But I put that thread on my machine, and it will not run on my
Well,
machine.
There's definitely something, we've talked about this before, between how threads twisted and then tri-level thread versus the ones that only have two, the spiral where it's only the two bundles.
Strands, yep.
Yeah, the 2-strand thread versus the 3-strand thread. The 2-strand is different. The texture is different. It runs different. And I'd say some of the cheaper threads that I've seen people come up with, they're 2-strand. They're not the tri-level thread,
Yep.
and they run differently. So thread can run differently, but yeah, I think that was a good question. We had people ask us what the biggest mistake that a first embroiderer kind of
Oh,
makes.
that's a really
Yeah,
That was a
good
really cool
That
one.
was like, which
That's
one should I pick?
There's a couple.
you start embroidery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all downhill from there.
Well, it's like, it's so subjective. What I don't think a lot of people understand is embroidery is so subjective to what the individual person does
Yeah.
that without knowing that person's kind of market, their strategy, their budget, their location,
Yeah, you
like
don't know
I
what
can't
their
tell
mistake
somebody if they're in an 800 square foot studio, I'm not going to tell them you need an 8-head machine.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
there are some things that you'd have to wonder, but
Yeah,
the questions are so general that it's hard to pinpoint their exact
Yeah.
answer.
what it is.
I mean, are you brand new to embroidery, brand new to digitizing, trying to digitize and to learn digitizing and embroidery at the same time? Because I can tell you what that big mistake is. But are you just embroidering and not digitizing? Because then that changes that whole big
Yeah.
first mistake thing to something else.
Well, I don't want to say it's a gimme question, but everybody does that thing. If you could go back and tell your younger self one thing about doing what you do now, but at the same time, when we got in there, I think we did narrow it down because we asked, "Hey, are you talking about digitizing? Are you talking about embroidering?" And we just gave one good tip, and I think that was fine. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, but yeah, some of the questions were so broad. You're like, yeah, I can't
How long
structure
do we
your
have?
business for you.
Do you use thread?
About like 24 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I use thread. You
I'm
know,
producing. How's that do?
What colors? One. White.
one. Yeah.
A Sharpie.
We don't make that joke anymore, Matt. Matt made that joke on the internet once, and somebody took him serious.
And now the color reel's a thing.
The color reel
I'll
was
take
a
my
big deal.
royalties now.
If anybody at Color Reel was looking to sponsor us, no, we didn't say that.
You know, I would find this interesting. You know those at Cricket, they sell those sublimation markers.
Yeah, Artistry does those too.
It would be
Yeah.
really interesting to watch if you could hold those against embroidery thread as it runs through,
That's what.
and
the
then
Sharpie's for.
you take it off and heat press it
He's
after.
honestly
I wonder if
stunned.
you could.
You can't steal my idea.
No, I'm sure
You
you could
just
do it
did.
on a finished
You
piece.
didn't,
And
you
it'd be fun
didn't
too.
trademark it or
Yeah, I mean you could like,
It's gone.
We
but
need to
you know
poison
some of
them.
us
Color
Again.
We
color.
Food
Just
poisoning.
like
I'm up
Yeah.
to it.
create little kits that you can color.
Do you know what? There is somebody. So
They're
I
careful.
I collected patches before
Why
I
is
went
that?
into embroidery, and there was. I'm gonna throw him out the window. So
I
Anyways,
just check and roll. I do.
there was a person who came out and he did his patch design and everybody loved it. He did a couple and then he did it white on white. It was 100% white thread. He
Yeah.
sent you the patch and 5 fabric markers.
Yeah. Well, and I've seen that done for printing too. I've seen that done where people will do
God.
these color your own shirt kind of parties, and they do
Yep.
it with the Artistry or the sublimation markers. Print something else around it that's already there, and then leave a field for kids to do stuff at parties, and then they heat press them at the end to do the
To set
final
it.
set.
So this guy,
This
he
is a
ran it
thing,
as a
yeah.
competition, and the
Oh,
one
that's
that
cool.
won, he made a run of patches in those color scheme.
That's
Oh,
cool.
that's
cool. Wow.
That's cool.
So it was really well received. It was amazing. It became a thing at the end to find one. People started looking for them that were uncolored.
yeah.
They wanted to buy the uncolored ones, but he did a limited run and they couldn't get the uncolored ones. And once somebody colored it, that's one more that's out of the
That's so
mint
cool.
condition.
Patch and pin collecting. So every time somebody goes, "You can't get money for a patch," I'm like, "You guys have not seen patch
How
collectors."
about
have you?
$800 for one patch?
Yeah,
Oh,
no, you
wow.
can make money on patches.
So get this. I joined the patch community. I started collecting patches way before, and I just collect patches as I wanted. And then one day I was on Facebook. I'm like, hey, there's a group on Facebook about patches. I'm gonna join it. So I join it, and I'm scrolling through, and here's a guy who has a picture up there. He's looking for a patch,
Mhm.
and I look over I've got 4 of them,
Yeah.
and he was offering $500 for the patch. So I sold all 4 of those patches
So
and
those
made
things were
$2,000.
gone.
Oh wow.
Just for
Wow.
going on to Facebook.
And I bought these patches for $6 a piece when they released,
oh
and
my gosh.
I ended up making $2,000. And
Yep.
That's quite a bit of profit.
there are some patches out there people will drop $500-$600. No question, it goes up $600. It's gone in
Well,
5
and
minutes.
even
That
for
is
the stuff
crazy.
that's not super rare drops like that, even regular merch stuff. You guys know that Aaron Draplin did the Made conferences that happened while we were out here too.
Mhm.
Aaron Draplin's patches, he's charging 10 to 15 for those all day long, and people buy them. I bought patches from Aaron Draplin.
Mhm.
So I don't have enough embroidery in my life. I bought patches from Aaron Draplin because his designs are cool and I like the guy. People will spend money on things that they like and believe in. So
Yes,
patches
that's
make
true.
I
money.
mean, I spent $200 on the heart one for the wife. And now
Oh yeah, for the wife.
more I had to buy for her.
Now look what you got yourself into.
Jeremy Hall's in our group, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Jeremy throws zebra pattern on
Yeah.
something. Matt's gonna buy it.
Yeah. There you go.
There you go. We have another comment from Ramona I'll bring in. That was, she used was twice. I'll clear that up. That panel was great. When you two were talking back and forth, it was like we were flies on the wall, listening and learning all. But then, of course, it was freezing in there. So as flies, we were all dying.
They're just going to sleep.
It was super cold.
Hibernating.
Freezing.
I went in there and I was sitting there and I was like,
I mean,
Right,
as
it was terrible.
an insulated human being, I was probably doing better than most.
I was fine. I'm like, this is
Did you get
perfect.
cold?
No, that was
But
pretty
see,
fun.
I double shirt.
Oh yeah.
So I live in Iowa. It's extremely humid. I always have a performance shirt on, a moisture wicking shirt underneath my regular shirt. Because if I don't,
Oh, that's me too.
Yeah.
There's
Did you
always
Did you
a
get cold?
dress shirt.
Oh, that's-
freezing.
Oh man, I was like,
I was
not
ready to cuddle.
By the way,
Man.
this is a
Oh, you could've came
funny
over.
story about that, too. I guess there could have been cuddling. I didn't see the cuddling.
But
I didn't see any
I
cuddling.
didn't ask you about your tool, but
I guess
Well, no
back,
wonder.
back
he
to what
didn't ask
Ramona was-
anybody to cuddle.
Ramona was saying. I mean, watching them two talk today, it was like just like now. We were just in a room discussing things, casually. There's a few times where I was telling Matt where, Jeff's saying something. It's like one of our lives. I was gonna chime in and be like, "Oh yeah, also," and I'm like, "This isn't my panel. I just need to sit here. I'm a guest here."
You
The
know,
last
I
panel
almost
we
checked in
did-
on something too.
I was like, oh,
Last
This is
panel we
alive.
did had 3 people, so I don't know why we couldn't have a bigger panel. Though,
yeah,
boy,
why
we
was
would
it
need
just
more
2?
time.
oh yeah, I mean,
Because we went over time with just the 2 of us.
But you
Yeah.
know what? People
And then we
you
had
know,
people
over
come
time,
up
just
to
the
me
one
and
of you.
asking questions
Bonus
after too.
time.
I should have yelled
Okay,
it out.
I got that.
Bonus time.
I got that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been great on the recording because they were
Oh.
recording it. Somebody yelling bonus.
I would have loved
Except your
that.
mic wasn't on.
It was nice.
My
though.
mic wasn't working.
No.
It was either turned down or it wasn't working.
It
because
was.
He was a
It
lot
kept
louder.
coming off. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was super weird. The mics were a little weird on that one.
Yes.
Luckily, on my main session, it was working. But if everybody in the room heard it, that's all I care about.
Yeah.
The recorded sessions, I'm not saying don't go buy them from Impressions, but hey, go do what you want to do. They also sell the recorded sessions, but I think sometimes slightly pricey.
Was it on camera? Were we on
Ours was-
camera?
No, we were
Yeah,
not.
I was gonna say I didn't see a camera. So I was a
No,
lot
Jay
more
Massell being the superstar he is, he got a camera crew. And I said this as much during the recording. I was like, oh, well, you're a star. That's why you get a camera.
Oh, wow.
So, I hope that didn't come out of the recording. I mean, I kind of hope it did. But we'll see.
I meant
when
it
you're
really.
sitting next to the boom mic guy, you're like, I sure hope.
I will warn anybody, if you know someone who's presenting and you sit in the front row, your name will be said at least 15 times. Jay used me for every example, and when he didn't use me for the example, he used Christine, who was also in the room. So Jay kept on so if you're Eric Campbell and you're talking about embroidery, he did it over and over the whole thing. So everyone who bought the recording of Jay's class, that's me. Hi, I'm Eric Campbell. I'm one who he was continuously pointing out in the crowd. So that was fun.
Adam wanted me to buy that. It's gonna happen. So
The recordings, they are really good recordings though, because they are synced to the slideshow, which
Nice.
is cool. They have the
Oh,
videos
that's
synced
nice.
to the slideshow, and they are nice.
Even your
I will
guys'?
say that. Yeah, there should have been no.
yeah, ours
nice
is
slides.
synced to our slideshow.
I mean,
Matt,
somebody
that's
could have
you.
pirate recorded
Aren't
that.
you the sinker?
I mean, I'm buoyantly challenged, but
You know, I will tell you, I was impressed by how many individuals walked up and said, "Do you guys need a laptop, a camera, slides, anything
Yeah.
like that?"
Oh no, I will say that the crew here at Fort Worth has been awesome.
Yeah, everybody
They
I
were,
ran into.
hey,
really
lagging a little bit
nice.
on the audio at the lead-in, obviously, but that's
I mean,
the only
he-
time
he-
it happened.
You've done this before,
Yeah,
and then when he saw no, I hadn't. He's like, "Let me help you."
yeah, totally. Totally. That was really
Nice.
good. I mean, we always have great crew. For the Impressions people always have great crew.
Yeah.
But I would say the Fort Worth crew and the people who are running the Fort Worth Convention Center have been really
Really,
awesome
I
too.
was really impressed with
So, yeah.
how friendly the staff was.
Yeah.
Every single person that I talked to that was a staff member anywhere in any capacity was really very nice. And
I did not walk through the doors going in without one of the 2 ushers acknowledging me.
and
absolutely.
smiling
Oh, yeah.
at us.
And smile- yeah,
And I can't tell you how
No,
many
they
times I
weren't
got
smiling. Masked.
Yeah, but you could tell.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you could see
There was a
their
lot
eyes.
of like howdies though.
Yes,
and I don't
yes.
mean that as I'm making a joke about Texas guys.
No.
Literally, some of y'all say
They
howdy.
literally. Well, no,
But
I would
you know
say
what?
y'all don't.
Like,
a lot of them.
in some places
Yeah.
that I've been, they will literally not even look at you, acknowledge
Oh,
you, and
totally.
they'll just sit
Oh,
there and
yeah.
talk to each other.
Totally.
Not this- not here.
exhibitors here.
But that's
You-
not Texas.
Yeah.
Texas is a very.
It was
I only
super
had one
I did
distributor
live here
that I
7
literally
years, so, in
followed the
Texas.
lady
Yeah.
into the booth. I'm like, excuse me. She turns around at the thing. I'm like, excuse me, and she doesn't even look up. I'm like, fine. You just lost to sit, and I just.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely. No,
Yeah.
you have to be engaging, and Jay also
Yeah.
talked about that. But
So what did Renee say there?
Yeah, let's bring Renee up.
You gotta
Renee
click
said,
the link before you announce them.
Sorry, I missed meeting you all. I had it up earlier, but then we were
Yeah.
talking about something else,
Yeah.
so I pulled it back down. It's my producer stuff. So sorry I missed meeting you all. So curious about everyone's takes on the show and would have loved to watch the panel. Just trying to listen to you guys and catch on to some of what I've missed. I hope you are all having
Oh,
a great
we're having
time.
a great time. We had so much fun. We
This is a
met
good one.
Ricky. We met
Matt.
Ko-
What?
Jones.
Koseki. Is that his name?
K. They just call him K.
Okay.
Okay.
And that was really fun. We had- Yeah.
Inside.
What
joke.
this is a sling blade. That's what these guys have been doing to me. But we were in the happy booth and we got to watch a lot of that. Renee, you guys were doing great. They were stitching constantly. Those machines ran 100% of the time. I don't think I really ever saw them stopped.
You know, I saw a few machines that they just stopped them.
Yeah.
And
they
it
stopped
was
True.
like it was stopped, but with a complete sew out, and they just
Yeah.
let it sit there. And then when somebody would come over, and then like at the Toyota booth,
Data stitch.
the data stitch, they stopped the looper foot.
Yeah.
And then when somebody come up and look at it, they'd start the
Start
machine.
running.
You could see it running.
Yeah, but
But
it's like,
No, that was pretty late in
But-
the day. By the time we were
Oh, that's
there,
true.
I mean, that was like 3:30.
But happy,
That was
yeah,
fairly
there's going
late,
all
but
the
that's
time.
still
You know,
pretty early to shut down.
I mean, I get it though. Like if nobody's standing there at your
Yeah.
booth and the machine's just you're
But
using
you know
materials.
what? If you're not present,
You can
It's
slow
like-
down.
it's like our own businesses. We need to show up for even one person.
I mean
Yeah.
that looper foot was
That
the
was the
most
bomb.
advanced technological advancement I
It's
saw at
true.
the show, and it's from the 90s.
And I loved it too. I loved
I will
it.
say,
I loved it.
just like we talked about when we were saying like showing people process videos, we all walked over to watch that looper foot.
Yes,
as
we
much as
did.
that is not like the most technologically advanced thing, we all were mesmerized
We all
to watch
wanted it.
looper
I
foot.
tried finding a YouTube video of it and couldn't
Yeah.
find one.
Really?
It's all the more modern style with the.
Yeah.
Honestly, if I'm on the floor tomorrow, I need to go try and I know we're not supposed to take videos, and I've been trying to be good, but I'm
Well, there were
This
people.
one is
There were
really
people
cool.
walking around with video cameras.
We're there.
But they weren't ISS.
All right, because
Yeah.
the ISS folks do their own video, and each of the booths are allowed to do their own as well. So
At least
a lot of
we're
them have their own
not-
crew.
I saw a few
Were
people
there people just
live walking down the thing, bumping
Yeah.
into
Yeah,
people.
I try not to because it's way frowned upon, but
Well,
sometimes
you're
you
very
can check some
well known,
stuff
though. And
out.
I mean, seriously, but this looper thing. So apparently, and I want to swing back to this. They have 5 in stock,
Yeah,
but they will not sell them. You have to buy
Without a
machine.
machine.
without a machine.
You buy the looper foot, you get a machine
Yeah.
free.
Most expensive looper
If
foot on the market.
you want a Toyota, you've got a looper
Yep.
foot.
But back when they made them a lot,
Yeah.
he said that they retail about $500.
I really would like.
And I'll
to
tell you,
look
for
into that.
$5.99, I'd have one.
I'd have one too. I mean, I'd have had one too.
Yeah.
Because at least it is a look that we don't see a lot,
Yeah.
and it's something you could play with and make some
A
really
lot.
interesting
Sounds
textures.
like-
I mean, I would like to see Bermuda.
Class by you.
Yeah, right. I would absolutely
Specialty
teach the
loopers.
specialty looper.
Specialty
class.
loopers from the 90s
Yes.
in 2021, 2022.
2022 for us.
I
Do
don't-
you want the 2021 technology? No.
No.
90s.
90s. The 90s
And
are
he
cool.
still wants
Turn back the
he
calendar.
still wants the brother BAS 9 needle
Oh,
machine.
yeah, I know. Here we go. I was going to get trashed for the brother machine.
You know what? I'm not gonna trash
Yeah,
the
yeah.
machine,
But,
but honestly, I search
yeah.
Facebook Marketplace a lot because I've been looking for some stuff, and every time I see a brother machine on sale on Facebook,
Yep.
Eric's picture, boom, in my mind. Not his actual picture, his little emoji thing.
Wow.
So I see it, and then it like pops right there.
Eric.
Hey,
Eric
I love the
approved.
machine. Well, I have all these samples that I still carry some of them. Some of my greatest pieces of work were done on that 9-needle brother machine,
My
3 in the
goodness.
morning in between shifts. So,
I mean, honestly,
yeah,
if
they're great.
they didn't stop making parts
Oh,
for
they would have
them,
been fine. Yeah.
people would still.
Yeah, they would.
Oh,
I
they
mean,
were
they're
good
still
machines.
selling them for like $1,000, $1,200,
Oh,
and
yeah,
you can't
yeah.
get parts for them.
That's the problem. It's
Not
just
good.
like once any of the electronics go, it's gone.
It's gone,
geeked.
yeah.
I mean, you can mess around with some of the mechanical parts, but once the boards
Once the
go,
boards are gone,
unless
that's
somebody's
it.
having that board rebuilt, and please don't have a board.
I know a
rebuilt,
guy.
brother.
Hey, that live was deleted.
Yeah, it
Sorry, Fred.
was. Fred needed a beer
Fred.
He
to
had
watch
an
that
aneurysm.
live.
I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure he had
right.
an aneurysm from that.
All right, let's grab a couple more comments. We have, I don't know who you are. You can say your name if you'd like us to say your actual name. Rusty's Needles and Twisted Threads. Oh, Twisted Threads. I may know who you are. Fort Worth friendly is legit and real.
Oh,
and I'm
it
gonna agree
certainly
with you.
is.
Fort Worth has been really cool. I mean, the last time I was in Fort Worth, I really enjoyed it as well, but this has been just as good. It's been a really good trip. So
It's been good. Well, I did used to live in Texas. I lived here for 7 years, up in Allen, up above Dallas, up Plano, up there. But Texas is the friendliest state I've ever been in.
So, Jeremy,
I've been everywhere.
I have a question. What years did you live to Texas?
Well, let me see now.
Were
Hang on.
one-ways invented then?
there were one-way streets at that time.
No, I didn't know about that until I got here this time. Then I found out one-way streets, and so I decided to exercise my right to do it wrong.
Two backseat drivers, a
I had
passenger
three.
driver,
I had
and a
three
digital
drivers in the car, and we were driving.
Recalculating.
And then and so from what I understand now, I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but I wasn't watching. I was doing the driving. And
Did you have the
apparently-
same tea?
Yes, many
That's
times
right.
that day. And here's the deal. I guess the valets looked at my actions as if they were normal.
Yeah, they did. They just looked at her and watched her do the 18-point
I only did
turnaround
three,
and then
but
the 8-9
apparently
point
it's
park.
common. Apparently this
yeah,
happens
I will
there.
say, any downtown that is full of one-way streets like that, somebody's
They're going to get that.
especially around convention centers. I will say I also wore my "Hey, I'm a foreign guy" badge. I kept forgetting to take off my trade show badge and walking into places, and then I realized, oh, there we are. I mean, we like nerds, but that was definitely, hey, there's my nerd badge.
Yeah.
Everybody knows where I'm from and what my name is. I have done that once before where I walked into the airport and forgot it. And somebody said my name to me, and I'm like, I was like, it must be somebody from the show. And then I looked in, I'm like, oh, all right. Yeah,
I got
badge
stopped a few times by people like, "Hey Jeff, how's it going?" And I'm
When did we?
looking at their
Yeah,
badge, and I
yeah,
don't
yeah,
recognize that name. But
What's
they're like,
happening outside?
I don't think so. Okay, cool.
Just making sure nobody's getting a ticket since
Is
we're parked on
anybody
the street.
taking anything?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Okay, we are in a safe neighborhood after all. Told you.
One hopes.
Only
Shots
one
fired, shots
cockroach
fired.
were golden.
There we go. Yeah, no, there's usually more.
We gotta build an Airbnb.
Oh no,
for
where there's
extermination.
one, there's a ton.
This is
Thank
true. Renee
Now he wants to
says,
switch.
wonderful, you met some of our key guys on the Text Back
We
team.
had so much fun. So
and then,
much fun.
that's something we try to show on our machines, that they run nonstop. And they
And
were
that's
running.
what happened.
They were running.
They ran.
Oh, and here we are, Mandy. So thank you, Mandy, for
Oh,
coming.
hi,
Yeah.
Mandy.
I live in Fort Worth and work in Plano sometimes. So
Nice,
Mandy Boylan,
nice.
thank you for joining in.
Yeah, we're glad you're here. Wait, Mandy, did I meet you at the show today?
Feel free to comment if you want to.
No,
Just so
here's
you
why.
guys know,
We
it's
gotta-
an 8-second delay from
Oh,
when
yes, it
you
is.
say something to
It takes
she
them a
hears it,
minute.
and then
Okay.
Yeah, there's
to
an
type
8-second
that.
delay.
So we gotta wait.
Okay.
So
So
the producers, when they produce these shows, they know, okay, I need to fill the next 8 seconds before I get
Oh,
the answer
okay.
instead of just
This
asking
is
a
why we
question
have
and be
a
like,
professional here.
why is
Okay,
nobody
I'm
talking to
professional.
me?
Mandy, in 8 seconds, will you let me know that if I met you today?
see, we had already
Is that
filled that
you?
time, but
Or
we'll be
was it
filling this time
yesterday? Or was
You
it
have
you at all?
16 seconds.
again. Extra time.
Oh, funny.
All
Mandy's
right.
like, I'm so out of here.
Yeah,
It looks like everybody's still hanging out for a little bit, so
Yeah.
thank you guys for being here.
Yeah, do you guys have any questions that we
Yeah, feel
might be
free.
able to answer if we can
Oh.
get there?
There we go. We have the answer from Mandy.
Oh.
Mandy said, "No, you didn't
Oh.
meet me."
Oh, I'm out of here first thing in the morning.
Go to the
That
airport.
guy too.
No, and that's the thing. I may be still there, so if you see me, feel free and harass me along
I don't
the
know
show.
about
That's
that
fine.
guy and that guy.
But
So
yeah.
if anybody approaches me in the airport and asks me about my tool, I'll know that you're watching tonight.
They'll give you $500.
There you go.
I mean, if you wear that shirt tomorrow, I bet you'll get asked a lot about your tool by the TSA.
At the airport.
Which is the last person you want asking.
I think they might want to search you for your tool.
Yeah, maybe.
They might want to ask about that
Grab
for
some
quite a while.
petroleum jelly.
No. Where is my dump button? Oh no, we're all on one mic. I can't mute anybody.
Yeah, we're all
All right,
on
so
the same.
no, Mandy, you didn't meet anyone, but there may be
Well,
a couple of us rolling around tomorrow.
yeah,
If you see anybody,
This
feel free to
guy
say
there
hi.
will be in.
They'll be
So let me ask this: what was your favorite thing to see at the show?
I'm going to be honest and say the other people here and you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
was networking, like I
it was
said.
networking.
Dan,
Yeah.
what was your favorite product you saw at the show?
Justin
It was
Stewart.
networking.
No, probably the Sprint 8. I did want to see it. I wanted to see it
Yep.
in person. I'd seen the videos, and I wanted to see the Sprint 8. So the ZSK Sprint
Nice.
8, it was a cool machine, and I wanted to check it out. The other stupid thing is that looper foot. I know that's
That
dumb,
looper foot.
but I wanted to look at that. It
If
was
we
so
could get
cool.
that looper foot on that ZSK.
And the thing is, I'm sure they have cording, they have everything else. They probably have something like
Not
that.
the
in
new
their
model.
catalog.
Believe it or not, in the book Punch by Bonnie,
Yes.
it is on a ZSK.
Okay,
Yes,
now
it is.
let me ask a question. Can that looper foot be added to any machine?
It has to be manufactured for any
Okay,
machine.
but
I mean,
is the action in the actual two presser feet that are being run?
I think you need
Well,
to
with
go back
file,
to the
you
show
can
and
make
look
it
at
fit
it.
on anything.
Well, I
with a file duct tape.
It looks like when the one presser foot presses down, the other one is just actuated by the action of the presser foot going down.
But so
Yeah,
so,
so it looks like the first presser foot comes down,
It looked like a
And
fairly
stops.
universal thing.
and then the second presser foot comes down on
Yeah.
top.
so then
So it's
how would we digitize for that? Then we need
You would just digitize more open density
Lines.
because of the.
Oh,
It's just like a
so
run
it's
fit.
like so then it would react as a fill, except it's
You have to
looping.
start it.
You know,
right.
it'd be
Okay.
more like, I mean, the way they had it was like a fill, but I bet you could also do it with coiling or with
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but like
wow, that'd be
stippling
so
patterns.
Ring.
But
Yeah,
you
'cause
probably,
they
you
did
probably
have
have
that
to
one
feed
as
it
a
through it first and let the first stitch drop.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
Start.
100% because it has to get.
So that's where
Yeah.
the no pokey finger.
Yeah.
That's
No
why it's on a
finger
Toyota
stick.
and not
No
a
finger
Tsushima
prick
with that
Yeah.
I don't-
bar.
yeah, with the sensor that's stopping it. For
So Jerry Lee, what was your favorite product you saw?
Well, the looper foot.
And
Notice everybody how we're all raving over the 1990s
That
technology
nobody
we
could
saw.
yes.
And I had three favorite things. I had the looper foot, I had the GSG booth, and I had the happy booth.
Hmm.
And those were my three favorite things. I love the happy booth because of the machines and because of the designs that they were
Not the
doing, because the
people.
guys were so stinking nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And people also.
They were so nice. It was just wonderful. And I met Kay, and he is just a hoot. And then at yes, I know. I'm one of them embroidery grannies. and then at GSG they had so many machines. It was like
I mean,
Oh,
GSG
wow.
booth was like half the show.
it was. It
Oh,
was
yeah.
like
Well,
they
it was
had
about half of their
everything,
usual
everything.
size booth, but it was still a large booth.
It was
like,
enormous.
let's put it this way: you guys know about how big the stalls are. About 4 of them. It was like 4 by, it was like
huge.
Right.
4 of the 10 by 10 or whatever 12 by 12 squares
They were across
together
the
or
aisle.
more.
They had like
they
some
had
over here.
Yeah, they
but the
had-
embroidery section was like by itself. Was like
Yeah.
4 booth spaces.
They had every single machine that they make or
Mhm.
sell. They had it represented.
Yeah, they probably had the most
Yeah.
equipment on the floor.
Yes,
I
they
think.
did.
And then
There's no
Hirsch
question.
had a bunch of equipment on the floor. Barrett was there with a fair amount of
Yeah.
equipment on the floor. But I think
Yeah.
the most variety was probably in that booth.
Yeah, and that was that was a really active booth too.
Yeah.
Really.
All right, Justin, we're going down the line here. You're up.
I mean, it's always nice to see the new, shiny new machines.
Mhm.
Considering the Tajimas I use are a couple years old. But seeing the new Tajimas there, those were nice.
Mhm.
You're seeing new machinery that I'm not too used to, like the Barrett and the ZSK Sprint 8. That was pretty impressive. But yeah, just I would probably the ZSK machine. That one's a little bit newer to me as far as what I've experienced in my career. That was probably the coolest one that I saw at the show. But I think the most exciting thing for me was to meet Eric finally after many years of talking to him online. People like Ramona, I know everybody from the groups and just over the years of being in the same industry. Christine, it was great.
It was good
Yeah.
putting names
You
to
know,
faces.
yeah, you can
Buddy
be
and-
friends online,
Yeah.
but the second you meet in person, that changes.
It does change, and it
Oh,
makes it even
absolutely.
stronger. And it's really like we're all part of a small family. Embroidery, as we all know, is a family.
Yeah, it's
And
This
I'm the
industry-
redheaded stepchild.
it's
We
funny
don't have
how
hair.
just knowing someone like Cindy, who I got to sit down and talk to for several hours today. I know her from little snippets of comments or little
Yeah,
posts,
yeah. True.
and people like Letty, who
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
she's my customer, and I associated her. I almost picture people as the designs that I remember that I've done.
Wow, oh, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's
And
cool.
there was a recent design that I did for her that it stuck in my head, and and just meeting these people and actually like putting faces and
Mary
oh, they're a real
Easley,
person. They're not
too.
just an email that I send.
Yeah.
I love this. Ramona says, "Wait, are you all real?"
Yes.
I'm
not
virtual.
sure.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
That's
if we're real.
virtual. We're all holographs. Well, we got to meet some other nerd
Yeah.
members. We got to meet Gary
It's true.
and Ann Sewell. We got to meet,
Yeah.
darn it, it just went right out my brain.
There were quite a few people from the groups there. That
Oh,
also-
Mary
yeah.
Easley.
Yeah,
Mary Easley.
Like I said, networking.
Networking.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. And I'll say this, like Justin, I walked up and we were just like, I started hanging out with Justin. Like I didn't even stop because we've been talking since we were blogging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like almost early social media when we were both. I was blogging and he talked with me and he started blogging. And it's like we've been talking that long. It was just like, oh hey, shake hands, fist bump, and let's just go do stuff because like it had been that long. It just felt like we
Yes,
already
Jerry
knew each
Lee and I walked in
Yeah,
on
totally.
Friday, and literally I'm walking down the hallway of the convention center, and it's like I see Eric. I'm like, oh, there's Eric.
other. Yeah, hey, there he is.
You know, and it's like even, and I'll
Totally.
say this, like we did the Discord channel, and
Yeah.
and you know everybody here is in the Discord channel except for the one person in the pink
Yeah.
shirt.
Well,
but,
she is.
I'm
but she-
in it.
like
I just
literally
don't
like
get
it.
the
She's
chats
stubborn.
the chats we've
I am
been
stubborn,
having
aren't I?
Yeah.
in the Discord. It's like we walked up on the floor and we just continued those.
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
Absolutely.
No, I think
So
the
if you're
Discord's
not
a
in the
person.
Discord,
If you're not in the Discord, I
You're missing
recommend
out.
joining the Discord.
EMBnerd.com/Discord.
Yeah.
Totally worthwhile. You know, the Discord is a good channel, and it's for everybody who's complaining about Facebook and how commercial it gets. Yeah, it's very nice to get in the back channel.
Yes.
Like I said,
Are there ads on it?
Discord?
No,
No.
Jeff?
you. Same
What?
question.
Jeff.
Yeah.
Same question. Oh, I guess I have a question.
Oh, I
and
think
you
you're
didn't.
going to skip you.
Thank
Yeah.
you for
Next to me.
focusing and focusing
So-
on this.
Favorite
Yeah,
thing.
it was. I looked at a little. I looked at the embroidery stuff,
You're
and
taking too long.
the number one
The
embroidery
looper.
thing that I saw was the looper foot because I've read about it, I've seen
Yeah,
it in
it's like
pictures,
one-
I've
And
never
now
seen
we
one in
got to
person,
actually see one.
and I never seen one operate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They kind of say how it was, but actually, the more interesting equipment to me was the vinyl, the
Yeah.
heat press, but that's because I do embroidery all the time and I don't do vinyl and heat press nearly as much.
Yeah, that's true.
And so to me, it's like, this is really neat. What are because, you know, I've never pressed vinyl on a shirt.
I never.
And
Yeah.
Oh, you have
yeah, and you know,
Is it
it's
fun?
like,
It looks fun.
I don't do it, and it's mainly
Totally.
because I think, oh, you know, that's going to be uncomfortable wear. It's
Oh.
you know, it's a thick film, and then to walk over there to a booth that has that they're
Yeah.
vinyl pressing it, you
Yeah.
run your finger over it, and you're like, you know, that's changed a lot since the last.
Oh,
time
it
I was
absolutely has. If you haven't done it since back in the day, the old school like athletic
I
things
just-
they used to have,
Yeah.
it is so much different now.
I just
Oh, nice.
remember getting the shirt,
Yeah.
and you'd put it on, and you'd bend over, and the numbers would stay straight.
Yeah,
It
no,
was
and it was
that
like
big.
that. It was like that for the longest time. I'll say, and I mean, I call it stalls because I like a lot of their stuff. But it's everybody else is there. Caesar's there too. I'm not going to say you can't use Caesar. Caesar's great stuff too. But I really love the stuff from stalls, and it's the first thing I tell people they want to say. Like they're embroidery only shop and they want to expand. I'm like heat press.
Yeah.
Very first thing, heat press. If you're going further than that, cutter.
Yep.
Because heat press and cutter, and you can do a lot. And you can also have people hire out all the other stuff. You can get sublimation transfers. You can get full color plastisol transfers. You can have all pre-cut vinyl
Yeah,
for you.
I mean,
It's
there's
ridiculous.
even the embroidery, the pre-done embroidery,
Oh.
3D embroidery. That you
And
can
I
run
have
ads.
done that. The distressed applique that's pre-stitched but
yes.
has a heat seal on the back. I use that for commercial products in a store, and they ate it up.
Well, yeah,
They loved
especially nowadays with the online stores, and you're
Yeah.
getting these onesie twosie orders. That's perfect. Right?
So yeah, the heat press stuff was really cool, and I will say the stalls people had a good booth this time too. They did pretty well, and they were showing some stuff. It was small, but they were there and running it. You didn't like it as much?
That's the only booth that I got snubbed at. So
Oh, I didn't know that.
I was just
I
trying
just
to
saw the
find
equipment
out
and looked at
some.
it.
I was trying to find out some information
Oh,
on
that's
press.
the one where
You-
she wouldn't.
If you guys are, if you
Well,
guys
we've
are
been trying to
be
look at
careful.
doing stickers for a long time. Like
Yeah.
either of us actually picking it up, but
Do like print cut.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I missed
mean,
out on a local one on Marketplace. But
Oh.
Yeah, it was like what,
It was
$800.
no, it was 500.
It was-
Wow.
2 machines though.
It was a printer,
Yeah.
a printer cutter, and a cutter,
Yeah.
Ooh.
and
That's not bad.
they were it
And it
sold
was-
pretty quick.
Yeah, it was only maybe like 20 minutes from my house, and I was
Yeah.
Yep.
not
Well,
smart.
here we have a couple more comments. I think they're germane to what we're talking about. Let's go to Ramona real quick. I always thought all your pictures were stock photos, you know, like those people across the water do. No, even though
I'm
we
from
are.
Texas City, Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say, even though we are in Texas, we are not in Texas City, Texas. So we are really here.
You know what's funny? If you Google Texas City, Texas, it actually pops up on a map. And
Of
I
course
never
it does.
knew if it just drops into the middle of Texas and it's like, well, this is the middle of Texas, or if there's actually a city out there called Texas City, Texas. But if there is, man, there is a lot of people that live in
Yeah,
Texas
there's
City,
a lot
Texas.
of digitized in Texas City,
Texas
Texas.
It's a lot of digitizing. It's the digitizing mecca of the world. And I'm positive it's got to be like the biggest city in the United States.
And the cost of living there must be really low because it's
Yeah.
$5.
Give me $5 and 1 hour, you know.
Wilcon only costs $12.
Yeah.
I also bet they only charge $1 per
Inflation.
thousand for embroidery too.
Inflation didn't happen.
If you mention the word patch there, you'll be flopped. You'll be a movie star. If you're in Texas City, Texas, and you say, what heat seal do I use on a patch? Here's my patches, buy them from me.
There you go. Texas City, Texas. If you're really from there,
Oh
we're
my
sorry.
gosh.
All right. So
Actually, if you're really from Texas City, Texas, please send me a message. I would love to see pictures of your town.
I agree. I agree. And the many, many digitizers who frequent it.
Yeah.
Want to know your family.
Yes.
You roll up under the overpass, you look off to the right, and there's the little tent with all the
There was.
the fields of digitizers as far as the eye can
Out
see.
there.
Plotting stitches all
They
day
come out
long.
You
digitized.
can hear them.
And that's where they send us when we get home. They go, oh, don't worry. We sent them to Texas City, Texas, where you can be with the rest of the digitizers. Run around in the field. That's where we all go. at the
Where'd
end.
Trevor
We all
Justin go? Oh, he went to a farm in Texas City, Texas.
They all love to lay there together and frolic.
Yes, you know how they are.
Everybody asks about this tool.
Oh.
Anyway,
Send a postcard.
so a comment from Lenny. I appreciate everyone there being in person and being able to put your hands on product and have a face-to-face conversation. And yeah,
Yeah, that was really fun.
I mean, and we have a sincere question from Renee. We can take this question if you guys want to handle it. Serious question for you guys going forward. We, TexMac, are making decisions about the next few shows and your opinions based on the participation you see in Fort Worth. How careful or alternately aggressive should we be at exhibiting in shows given what the country is going through with COVID?
So here, I'm gonna jump on this grenade
Okay.
Go for it.
because Renee doesn't. Yeah. I almost
Renee, you
I
asked.
shut my mouth there. This is my opinion on this. I purchased my very first machine from a catalog. Had I purchased from a show, I would have not purchased the machine that I did, and I would have probably purchased a Happy first. You know, Happy is my second machine. I'm gonna throw that out there for all you guys. But you know, when you go to a show and you see the machine run, and
Yeah.
like for me, my previous machine was really, really loud, and I walked into this, and when I'd run at high RPMs, I'd had issues with
Oh, man.
registration and all that stuff. And when I went to the show the first time, and I stood there next to a machine that was running at 1,000 stitches a minute, and it was significantly.
You don't do words.
Yeah, I don't words.
Significential.
So when you look at it and it's running significantly faster
Yeah.
and significantly quieter, and it's
Yeah.
not shaking like the house is going to come down, it's like, wait a minute. And so to me, we had people that at the question and answer, they said,
Yeah.
what software and what machine do I need to get started into this business? And I think a lot of that, you know, if your salesman's at the store or the salesman's there and that person walks up there and says, what do I need to get started in the business? They can go into the, let's identify your use case so we can pick the right machine for you.
Yeah.
And to me, if a salesman does that, if they say, how do you want to use it? Where do you want to put it? How would you like to move forward? And they give you that one-on-one attention of how to pick the right machine for you. They give you that advice based off of what you're looking for. And that is worth its weight in gold.
It is.
I mean,
It is.
I had passed up machines simply because the salesman did not give me the time of day.
Right.
And this was when I sold my old machine, I wanted a new machine there within a week.
Yeah.
And the salesmen were just like, oh, you know, and the one salesman that took me seriously, that gave me the time, that gave me, and you know, they helped me pick out things. That was the machine that I bought, and it wasn't because of, this machine's better than that machine. It was because this machine
Service.
manufactured, it was the service behind it.
Yeah,
And so
that matters.
if I was going to say what more aggressively would you do at a show, I would say that have a few more salesmen there
Yes, have a
that can-
digitizer and have a bigger booth.
and have somebody that is going to give and I'm not saying your booth didn't, but just in general, when somebody's standing at the machine and you have a salesman come over and they say something, oh, are you looking into it? Oh yeah, I want to bring in, even if they're buying one head or they're buying an 8-head machine, having that salesman that gives them the attention is what's going to close that sale. And it's just like what we preach when we go into the embroidery places, give your customer the attention, get their opinion, find out what they want, and then you work with them to get what they want. It's the same thing when you're selling a machine to an embroiderer. You give them that attention and they're going to go,
Right.
you know what, this company cares about me being successful.
Well, what I know, go ahead, Justin.
No, I was going to say, I'm sure there's cost involved, Renee, to have your booth at the show, but I guess you got to look at it this way. Unless shows start get canceled altogether, there's no choice there. But not being a presence at these shows, you're going to have the bigger names there, and they're going to be the only ones that these new people
You've
or
got
people
to
looking
go
for
to
new.
shows.
Yeah, they're only going to see the Tajimas and the Baradins,
Right.
and us walking around, being who we are in the industry, just looking at the new machines and us knowing about them, we kind of were like, well, this company over here is kind of doing that same old design they've been doing for 10 years, and it's not wowing us, and we're the ones going out there supposedly knowing what we're doing.
Well, look at it this way. If somebody threw out a design and it was like, whoa,
Right.
like
ZSK one.
I'll throw ZSK out there. They had that Texas with the promotional, and you walked by and you looked at that because they were using the Bermalana. It looked.
They utilized
it looked.
every kind.
They pulled out the stops on all of that.
Specialty thread on display.
Yeah, and
totally different look. Yeah.
For somebody like us, that I look at that and I go, yeah, I can do that on a machine. But to somebody new,
Oh my God,
they look at
sells
that
the
and
machine.
it's like that's it.
Right.
That's it right
That was
there.
the only machine that was doing something like that.
Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
nobody else
So
does
Baradin
specialty
was only doing the Baradin font on the hat.
Yeah.
And they were
doing
running
one
it.
flat, I
And
think.
Hirsch too. They were doing that.
The
Very
flat
boring.
runner was okay, but it was a stock design with text. It wasn't bad,
Right.
but it wasn't. That
Wasn't
thing
wow.
also wasn't designed for the show. It wasn't. Now I understand shows are much smaller, but I'm going to say this too. The other thing that can happen was at the DAX shows, and actually the larger companies weren't there, and it was only the smaller companies were there, and people were buying those machines.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, hey, if and I'll throw them under the bus. I don't mean to this. I don't know you guys who are out there, but you saw the Pro X machines, which are often there in one corner. People were buying Pro X because there was nothing else there. Whoever was there won the business. So you do have to think about your ROI and say, hey, someone is out there wanting to buy a machine. I had people coming out of my classes at DAX who said, I am here to bring a machine home. They were telling me right now, who should I go see? I'm here to bring a machine home.
If I went to anywhere, this whole pandemic, whenever I went anywhere, I went there with the intent to throw cash down, get it, and get out.
And
You go for a
Look,
reason.
you
You
couldn't even
don't.
buy Madeira thread here.
Well, here's the joke that
You can at
You can.
3:10 tomorrow.
Yeah, 3:10.
Maybe.
10 minutes till 3. 10.
10 till
Some of the
3.
shows, the smaller shows, the craft shows, people tend to set up stores with materials. At these shows, at the expo shows, you usually can't buy materials.
Right.
But then we saw some. I guess we saw some.
Even though Jeff was trying to buy something from every single booth.
Yeah, like I forgot a backpack, and I literally walked into. There were, I believe, 3 booths there that had backpacks or drawstring bag. Every one of them, I'm like, can I get one of these? Here's money. And they were like, not till 10 to 3
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's like, it does me no good at 10 to 3 tomorrow.
Is that an ISS rule that they can't do that for the competition?
No, at 10 to 3 tomorrow, they
They
either have to
pack up.
pack it up and
Or
ship
take
it
it.
back,
Yeah.
or
yeah,
they
but just
sell it.
add a clause that they can't.
Yes, you can't
sell
sell
it
Yeah,
it.
for.
you're not supposed to be
Yes.
able to sell it at a show.
So it's not them not.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, they kinda
The
got
overlords.
it to you.
yeah. So you know,
Oh,
it's
yeah, he didn't want to
like-
do that. That's right.
it.
Well, I have a little bit of input for you, Renee, and to take you back to that question of yours. Here's the deal. You guys had a really great booth. You had a nice corner location, and the 3
Mhm.
men that were in there were attentive. They paid attention to every single customer,
Yeah.
and all 3 of those machines were running.
Yeah.
What I would have liked to have seen, because nobody really had it, you need to, if the package is going to be presented and I'm going to buy something, I'm going to say, what software should I have? There was no software presence
There was the Baird
Where?
booth.
the Birding booth. Okay,
Yeah.
so one booth had software presence.
Mhm.
Software
Well, there was
is
actually
really
a
big
software
deal.
company there too.
Okay, well,
Right,
but
as far as, like,
software
the
is a really
machine,
big deal. When I go, I want to see all of your package. I don't want to see just half and then tell me to come back. I want to know what you have, and I want to see your tools, apparently. But I want to know what I want to be treated like Jeff made a really big point,
Mhm.
and that is treating the single head customer as if they're an 18 head customer, because you know what? You don't know who's going to become an 18 head
But-
customer.
That's true.
And here is something
Yeah.
else I'm going to
Big
throw out
time.
there on that point is when I bought my first machine, I did not know the company sold accessories. I did not know that the company sold
Accessorize
booths.
these people.
Yeah.
So like if you're
Yeah.
running a booth with a machine, right? And I'm going to finance a $16,000 to $20,000 machine. If you say, "Hey, this $500 set of Mighty Hoops is going to make your
Yes.
job so much easier,"
Do
I'm going
that.
to roll that into the financing. It's going to be a
Yes.
bundle deal.
You need
Yeah.
to make
So-
everything available.
And some of that, like I know TexMac has a store, but I never knew TexMac the store and TexMac the machine manufacturer or the
Right.
machine distributor
Yeah.
were the same thing.
Y'all need to bring those things
And,
together.
and once you guys
Yeah,
start
that'd be a good idea.
and
Yeah.
once you guys
Yeah.
start advertising, like, hey, you know what? We sell this. We have Mighty Hoops. We have,
Or not
you
not
can
even just
draw
to
money in
establish,
everywhere.
not just to establish like bundles like you're saying, but to
Yeah.
say like you're buying from a company
That can
has
supply.
these supplies.
Yep.
We'll
that
help
can,
you.
You know,
We're-
from across the board, we can
Yeah, it's
help you
turnkey.
from.
Yep. And you know,
We're
you're not
all-purpose store.
you're not selling anybody anything that they don't need. But if you have something there that makes the job easier and they
Sell
can
it to
include
them.
that into the financing,
Sell it.
you know, I've seen so many embroiderers that go and they'll finance a machine and they'll say, well, I got this, you know, company will say, it comes with a starter kit, it's everything that you need to get going.
But then what
it's,
after that?
it's not.
It's
Yeah.
And
not.
so these
No,
people,
no,
you know,
no.
they buy that, they get the starter kit,
And then
and
they're
they
going,
open up the thread and it's like, well, that's the 24 spools of thread that they couldn't sell. And then they open up the backing
Yeah.
and there's like enough
Yeah.
to do 5
you
to
want
10
to give
shirts.
it a nice
and,
package. When you do a machine, this is another thing that so this is like a totally different like idea. But Renee, I don't see not one machine company doing this, but putting together a kit like that and make it part of the cost of the machine, things that will make their life easier, proven
Sure.
tools that are quality and that work so that when they're there, they don't, I mean, yeah, you can use something cheap
Sure.
and cheesy, but the point is, why not make their life easier and let them shave seconds off of every production
And-
run so they get another run?
And honestly, you know, when you sell somebody a machine, right, they're financing it. There are not many people that are just walking to the show and they're throwing
Right,
down the
but
cash.
they want to be able to
and
finance.
they
and-
want to be
They wanna be able
successful,
to
and they
stitch.
if you tell them that this is going to make it easier, they're going to want to buy it. And
Right.
if they're buying it at the same time they're financing the machine, they can roll that into the financing. Versus now I have to come up with the cash
right,
to be able to buy
right,
this,
to
and
buy
then
the
they put
things
it
that
off
make
and
my
they
life
wait.
easier.
And I see that a lot with the Mighty Hoop, the hooping station. The
Sure.
people,
Mhm.
Master.
if I would have known about that when I bought my machine, it would have been included in that
For
package.
sure.
I guarantee it.
Well, and also partnership if it's something where it can't all go in one booth, because not everybody's going to be able to have like 15 booths that have everything that they ever sold. But just bringing it up, educating on it, making sure it's
Yeah,
clear.
and whether or
Put it
not
on a
it's
flyer,
you
get
add
it
it on
into
the flyer
people's
with
hands.
the
Get it on the
machine.
No,
website.
and I'll actually, we have a couple more comments that I can bring in though.
Yeah,
Do you check and see if I'm plugged in? Because I'm on battery saver already. Check my connections for me, guys.
down
thank you.
in case
Are you
that
done?
Just done.
Yeah.
in case that one's on switch.
All right. Thank you. All right. We
Did
got
that
a few
fix
more
it?
minutes, but no, I didn't. That's
Oh,
all.
I can plug it in up there.
It's all good. We still have some time on. Let me go ahead and grab the comments while we're here. Letty said, I went to one booth, asked about a product, and expecting to order some, was handed a business card and was told, go look online, here's a discount code if you decide to order.
Wow.
I bet you're Russian right there, aren't you, Letty?
It's hard. I know that we don't really, because especially the expo shows really aren't about selling on the floor, whereas like the DAX shows, people sell things on the floor way more often. But I still think they should have taken their order.
I mean,
They should have
and
taken
you know
their
what?
order in the booth. I
Like expecting to buy a product. She said a
Yeah.
product. We don't know what product. She
We
could have
don't know
been
what
wanting to buy a heat press and had a question about
And
it.
then that's, yes.
And then now you don't get that question answered.
You
The
should
first
just be
person who's going to
reluctant.
answer that question
Yeah.
for you is going to buy that.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
Treat
I think-
every person
I
like
think there's
you're
a
going to buy.
I think there's a disconnect in not trying to crap on one person or
Oh, no,
one booth
totally.
or another, but there's a disconnect between just having someone there doing one job,
Yeah.
running a machine, pressing a t-shirt on a heat press, to somebody that's there that's thinking like us, like we're discussing, of what does the customer need? What information do they need? What's going to help them make their purchase? What's going to help them after their purchase?
What's going to help them be successful?
Well, it's going to help them.
That's- yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not just here's our product. Yeah, you want information?
Hope you come
Here's the
back.
card.
And you know what? Here, I'm going to throw this in here too. And I think this is really important because right now we are a society that we scroll through that first impression is everything.
Yeah.
Signage.
Signage, yeah.
Look at
Yes.
the booths of the show that had
Signage.
impressive signage.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They had
GSG
people
with
there.
The thing above.
Yeah,
GSG
They knew
had
exactly
impressive-
where they were.
The other,
Yeah.
the digitized inside Corel software, their signage was impressive, and people were walking up there not necessarily because of what was in the booth, but because his
Signage
signage
was
attracted them.
Right.
Yeah, totally.
And so I think that that's a really big thing, and it's important to know that when you go somewhere, you have to get that impression. You need that, and
Everyone starts with that black canvas or
the blank canvas
Yeah.
is that first impression
Help
that
people
slaps against
paint
it.
and
True.
show them what paints they need and what brushes will honestly help them. Yes,
Yeah.
you can always do it
Sure.
some other
But
way.
you know that big sign that's like "Welcome, come here."
Yes, and we
we
want
have free
you.
puppies.
Definitely
Free embroidery thread
Clear
in this
answers.
van.
Right? Just get in the truck. We have puppies and candy.
Come
Oh man, not again.
Last time was just candy. Renee says, great answers, guys. We'll play this part of the discussion next time we have a meeting
Great.
on shows.
Awesome. Thank
I'm
you.
all
Well,
about
thank you
Really,
for
yeah,
asking.
consultation.
All about that?
Yeah,
we-
$500.
Renee, we're auditioning for your ISS Long Beach show next year, so if you want to bring us in, we could help.
Yeah,
We're all
same
here.
I mean, you know what? I have seen
Five
a
for the
live
price
stream
of
from a
five.
booth before.
Yes.
You what?
The OSG booth. They
Yeah, they were
did
doing
the
it, yeah.
take up from the
Yeah.
Jack's
They did
Kansas
that.
City floor one day.
So yeah,
Yeah.
if
But that was
Yeah,
the,
you're
that was
right.
the platform
you
we
want a
met.
nerd live from your booth at
Yeah.
ISS
Yep,
Long Beach,
there you go.
Renee?
I mean, all
If
you-
not, we're
you know,
going down in the OSG booth.
Yeah,
Look,
just,
they're set up for live stream. Let's rock it.
we'll just do it. We'll just
There's
do
more of us than them.
We'll crash. we'll crash.
There's
the
only
bus.
two regular guys, and there's four of us.
it. Hey, I'll produce anybody's stuff, obviously. Renee says, true enough about software, Jerry. I used to do software demos in the booths, used to lend a completeness to the presentation, but those who need that level of detail in making their decision.
Yeah. And plus they'll buy it
Yeah, surely.
if they don't
And I
have
mean,
it.
Ramona kind of brought up a two-booth series, and actually one for machines and one for displaying sales. And I kind of agree with Renee on this one. He said he agreed that we did that for a while, but accessories and supplies are tough because of the margins. I fully agree. Having run booths, I know you can't always have more booth space, but certainly just making it part of your sales rubric about what you're teaching salesmen to bring up, and the concept that we all talked about, which is have them ask about someone's business model and have a good idea as consultants of what they need to get
And I mean,
started.
even
And
if
have enough
it's a simple flyer on the
Yep.
back of the machine
Yeah.
manual that says "and this too,"
Yes.
Yeah.
you know that's enough. And
One standing
And something personalized
podium
to
with
that
a flyer
event
would have been
was-
enough.
Like
Yeah.
Mighty Hoops, it was the same exact PDF you download off the website.
yeah, it was
We
that
looked at
that
it.
was their flyer. It was
It was-
literally with the pricing and everything. It was just
Yeah.
what was printed at the site.
I wanted to leave with a few Mighty Hoops.
Renee-
Same price.
At 3:05 tomorrow. No, 10 to 3 tomorrow. You can.
10 to 3 tomorrow.
Just from
Yeah.
experience, Renee, if you have a big poster board that says "Ask me about my tool," that's all you.
That's all you need.
I
And
thought
he
the
will
marketing
make you
didn't
the
work out very
shirts
well.
so that you
He
can
got
walk around
all
with
the old ladies at the show wandering in, following him, going, "Do I
Should
ask?"
I?
So we are in way official bonus time. It is an
Yeah.
hour and 24 minutes. We
Wait, we had a
absolute-
scheduled time?
Hey, hour 15
glad
is
you guys
official
are here.
bonus time.
Wait, no one clicked the go live button.
We're so
Oh.
Did we
All these
forget
comments
to
were
record?
fake.
You know what my favorite thing to do to Jerry Lee when she gets in the waiting room is we're going and I'll just start talking. Like we just
Like you're live.
Hey everybody, this is Jeff here with the Embroidery Nerd, and well, Jerry Lee, she's getting something, and
Yeah, no, that's my favorite thing to do to Terry because he says, "I'm going to get up and get something." All right, so let's go live. Terry's gone. Let's go ahead and get this started.
or you wait till he's on his way back, and you're like, "All right, everybody, Terry is back with us now."
Well, look who showed up.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I guess I'll have to take over for Terry. I guess he got out of his chair,
Yeah,
so I got
City,
to host
Texas.
now. It's
That's
me.
right.
I'm hosting now. Though I will say one other thing that Ramona said, and this is true of Melco. Melco does do that with their packages, and they have package ABC, starter, middle, and all.
See,
They
Yeah.
do that, and I will say that there is a certain class of embroiderers who really love that the Melco package because they do that. They really are a package deal kind
I
of
mean,
system, and
like
they sell
people-
systems. They do.
People ask me, they're like, "I'm gonna get an embroidery machine. What else do I need?" Or they
Yeah.
say, "I just got this. I've got it on order. It's coming. What do I need?" And I guarantee,
What the sales
I
team
say
is for.
you need white thread, a
Yeah.
big spool of white, all your
Sure.
primary colors and big spools. You're gonna need to order more stabilizer.
Absolutely.
What do you plan on doing? Left chest, because you're gonna need left chest stabilizer. You do
Sure,
your
sure.
business models caps. You're gonna need. I mean, it's like
yeah, you got
they
to
give
know.
you enough to hoop up a couple of things and to play with it a little bit,
And then you're on
there
your own.
with I need to now figure out where I need to buy stabilizer, what package.
Because they don't know.
And you know what? I also say this too. The when people find something that works right for them,
They'll
they'll
stay
buy
with
it.
it.
If they come to your store to buy something the first time,
They'll be
like
back.
even this with your accessories, if they buy the Hoop Master from you the first time, more than likely they're going to come and get subsequent Mighty Hoops from you because that's who
Yes.
they got it from last time.
And they're going to buy other of your products
And
because they
honestly,
keep it in your
people
site.
love to have a guy.
They
Yep.
do. Everybody
Yeah,
likes to
I know
have a
who I
guy.
go to this. I have
Yeah,
a guy. I have a
everybody
person.
Yeah,
appreciates
you know,
that.
it's just.
They do.
I think one of the big disservices that happen to people that get into the industry is they get sold. We have our starter kit,
Yeah.
and they think that that's enough when it comes.
Sure.
And you know, if even manufacturers quantified that this is enough for you to do like 15 hats. This is enough for you to do like 5 polos or 6 shirts. You know, now you're letting the people know how far they can go, and then you can say on top of that, you can say. But if you would like, if this is what you're doing, this is what I recommend for that particular product. So we can get you the first, you know, or even then on top of that, say, this is going to come with a random 12 pack or random
Sure.
spools of thread. You're going to want white, black, red,
Oh, yeah.
orange, blue,
In
green.
the big schools, not
In-
the little.
No, and
Yeah.
admittedly, the other thing is, and I'm going to be unpopular as somebody who digitizes myself and loves to do the in-house digitizing, you don't always need full tilt digitizing software with your machine.
Correct.
Yeah.
Lettering, yes. Editing and
Absolutely.
lettering, everyone should have. And
Yes.
100% don't pay for a person to drop names.
No.
That's
Please don't.
ridiculous. And honestly, no digitizer really wants to do name drops for you. It's
No.
a waste of our time and it's a waste of your money.
I mean, when I started,
For sure.
I said to the salesman, I want to do digitizing. He said, this is the software you need. He sold me the complete wrong software for what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
He obviously didn't understand what you were trying to do.
Yeah, I was trying to digitize.
And I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you, depending on the salesperson you had, they didn't care. That's
No,
the
and
bad
that's
thing.
the truth.
But even
That's-
things
That's
like
the problem.
my second machine I bought, it came. They said it would come with 15 spools for each head of a color, and I got it. I had no idea what brand it was, and I didn't know where to rebuy it or
Oh my
purchase more.
gosh.
So if you say you send 12 spools or 15 spools of gear for each machine, you send them the link to that exact color.
Oh,
They can
wow.
go back and they know they're getting that exact one,
Or, I mean,
or
even,
the stabilizer.
So
Yeah.
Renee says TexMac does have starter packages. So
Okay,
yeah,
so
get those in front of people for sure.
but you know what?
Got it.
On top of you can nail on top of that.
I would
that
agree.
starter
I mean, the
package.
starter package we talked about, but that's not really what we're talking. I think what we're saying is
We're
ask somebody
saying-
about their model of what they're trying to
Yeah.
do and try and
And build
recommend them the
to that,
accessories they need to
customize.
put.
Right.
If they're gonna do
Customize.
patches, maybe send them materials more for patches.
I was
Yeah.
just going to say,
Yeah.
like, patches being what they are now.
Like I
especially.
told my second company I was gonna only do patches. They sent me some cap stuff,
Yeah.
but it was extra stabilizer for patches.
And you know what?
Nice.
Even then, like if they say, well, I want to do a lot of left chest logos or jacket backs, Yeah, I agree. Yes, the factory hoops, you can do it with the factory hoops, but
yeah.
That's all I've used so far.
the mighty hoop on a jacket back.
Well, let's put it this way. If somebody said, all I do is construction worker stuff and cattle stuff, and they live in a cold part of the country, they're going to be doing Carhartts, they're going to be doing heavy jackets, and they'll be a lot happier with a big magnetic hoop. Or a wood hoop. They actually do have those, the big wood-sided hoops that hold on and grip to those things, old school. That's the other way to do it.
I
but
love
one of those,
and you know what?
one of those
It's
two
my
things would be
favorite.
worthwhile.
When you sell somebody that and you tell them this is what's going to make it easier for you, this is what's going to help you do it
Our
faster.
previous customers like this.
Our previous customers
Yes.
like this, you know what? They're going to be like, okay, they're taking care of me. And then when they go and they because it's usually after they order the machine that they start joining embroidery groups, and they're going to say in a group, I just ordered this machine. What else do I need? And and everybody, all the internet people are saying, you need the Mighty Hoop hooping station. You need this thread. And they're like, whoa, my salesman got me that.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it becomes less of a, they're just trying to sell me stuff and more of a, wow, they're actually like
They actually
taking
took
care of me. Yep.
We have a couple more comments here that are worthwhile, I think. We've got Ramona saying, I must have told a dozen people that. Learn your lettering and file merge in software.
Yes.
Be able to do composition and drop your own text.
I will also,
Absolutely.
I'm going to add to that, and this is unfortunately something that I did never think of that I would need to add to that, but also know, does your software filter stitches or stitch process as you're exporting, and is there a way you can turn that off?
Tune in next week for a live on that.
Oh yeah, that might be a thing. That might be or a take up on that. Depends on who gets to it first.
Or why not?
You guys are on Thursday, so you
do it all.
got me beat.
We'll do it all.
But I mean, really, like, people don't understand how important that file is when they're first starting.
Actually, check out the take up episode about pre-flight process, and
There
that's
you
where I
go.
talk about
That's
it.
number 12.
But that's also
number
true.
Yeah. Honestly, Eric,
Yeah,
you know
it's
what?
true. It's
You know
true.
what? I had a plan, and you're gonna laugh at this. I had a plan going into our meeting today, into our session, that if I didn't know the answer, I was gonna say, Eric, wasn't there a take-up on that? I want to say it was episode
52.
Yeah.
30.
I was going to yell up,
numbers.
no, that was 54, not 52.
And you'd be like, yeah, that was
Probably.
and then I would have been saved. That was like my
That was your
Hail
ripcord.
Mary.
That was your ripcord. Eric, I think you've already done something about this. Do you have an article that you
He
can
did
share?
actually tell me he was going to do that.
No, I mean, yeah, I told
Yeah.
It was planned.
it.
It
Yeah.
was planned.
Actually, Renee has another comment here. Eric Berg point on software. I push that in embroidery classes. Not everyone needs to learn digitizing, but everyone can use in-house lettering and editing. Yeah.
Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
You would not
100%.
believe how many times I have seen people say, how can I shrink the text on my machine? Because they're entering text in on the machine, to embroider it on the
Don't
machine.
do it.
And usually the answer is in your software.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't
That's the
do it.
reply.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I want to scale this down to a 1/2 inch. How do I do that? And
In your software.
in your software. So,
Yeah.
lettering, if you like, and I'm going to throw Brilliance out there because
Sure.
BX fonts are huge.
They are huge.
And there's people love BX fonts, and they're fairly inexpensive. There's a lot of them out there, and
And we're finally starting to get more natives.
and
the
it's-
natives are all coming.
Yep, and it's lettering. It is lettering software.
It's lettering software.
You can file merge in it,
Yes.
and it doesn't cost you a fortune to be able to
No.
have that capability.
No.
I honestly,
It's intuitive.
isn't it in the free software?
Yes, the
that
free
you can-
software allows you to do basic lettering. You can't do file composition. You can't drop it under a file, but you can compose with any BX font you can buy. And in fact, even the native fonts that we sell as packages, they run in the free software.
Yeah, and so
You can do that.
Like, there's
very
your
little
lettering.
excuse to have no lettering. Software.
and
Correct.
even Eric, how much is
It's a
Essentials?
mistake.
Essentials $139.
So Essentials is $139. So I just bought this $16,000 machine. I'm going to spend $139 to be able to file merge and
Yeah.
and edit text.
Get like
Instead
13
of paying
really
$20
clean
for a
fonts.
digitizer to do it for you.
I mean,
Yeah.
well,
Yeah.
it
It
honestly
takes
a lot of
longer
it.
to send you the design than for them to do it.
Yeah, and even then, like if you have that, now you can go out there and you can look out on the internet for the fonts that you want.
Yeah.
And
I'll
rather
say-
than find a font, create a name, send it to a
There is,
digitizer.
I'll say the one thing, there is truth. People talk about BX fonts being stitch based. There are, but it does stitch processing in the software if you have Essentials.
Yeah.
If you have Essentials, not the free version, it will do stitch processing and handle that. And like I said, more of the creators are making native BX fonts. So watch for people doing that. I'm not doing an ad for Brilliance, but when you're looking for VX fonts, the native ones are object-based and reprocessed.
Yes,
So that's what that
they are
means.
object-based.
They do have
scale.
those now. We didn't
You
used to. We do have them now, and more of our VX creators are doing that. So, hey, reward the people who are doing native fonts by buying those, and they'll make more of them.
Yeah, I mean, really, that's what it comes down
That's
to.
what it comes down to.
What
Not sponsored.
as somebody that
No.
I've made a few fonts, it's really, really hard to tell what people want.
It
Like,
is.
It is.
That you can go out on the internet in true type font world,
Oh,
and
yeah.
there's
There are
thousands.
billions.
I have
It's so
2,300 fonts on my laptop,
For sure.
Squeeze
Yeah.
that down.
and
Yes, I understand
people like they'll be like, I want it in a block text, and I look at my laptop and I think, let me pull up 5 options for you.
Yeah, totally.
And make sure you embroider each one of those onto a sheet so your customers in your store can pick the exact font they want.
Man, I tell you what, I had
I'll give
somebody
you 8 hours to find the one you want.
that wanted me. They wanted me to put their name on something, and no joke, they said, make sure you sew it out first and hold it against it so I can tell if I really want it. And I about
That's
came
rough.
unglued.
That's rough. You know,
Because they wanted to-
drop.
This
Good
was
idea.
after I had already, I quoted them the price, and
Yeah.
then they're like, and sew it out twice, please. And it's like,
Nope.
You know what? I'd say use 5. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
I'll send you over to info.
but yeah,
at
lettering capabilities, making sure that you know whether or not the stitch processing is happening.
And we'll
Because-
we're gonna comment up on that because it's true. Ramona says, "Oh my God, yes, Jeff. People run their machines, design their software, and they save it to their flash drive, and all the special instructions I place are gone." Yeah, depending
You know
on
what?
what you're doing, stitch
Honestly,
lettering can do that.
If somebody has a machine and you know that their machine is a DST machine and they ask you for a PES file, it's going through software.
Yeah.
Because they want the PES because it's going
They
to
also
retain the
want-
colors.
They want to see the colors.
They want to see the colors.
Yeah.
So guaranteed, you already know where this is going down, and if you can try and head it off. Hey, what software do you use?
Educate
and-
first.
And they'll tell you, hey, yeah, I use this software, and you can say, you know what, that runs it through a stitch processor. It's going to cause problems to the file,
Yeah.
and so it's better if you don't run it
And
through
also-
that software.
Tell them the magic numbers. Tell them if the stitch count is different on your machine than it is on the stitch count from the sheet that I sent you.
There's
The
a
processing
problem.
has happened.
Yeah.
Yep, and that can cause you issues because nothing like it ripping out a tie-in.
So Renee says, Matt, just want to confess
Need
to
another
you.
one of these.
Yeah, the real reason I didn't show up in Fort Worth is because I couldn't get that forehead to Texas you were asking
You know, I
about.
actually told Jeff on the way down I was not even going to mention it, and I haven't in the entire life.
And you know what, Renee? I'll promise you this: if you guys have a forehead at your shop format, me and him will drive up. Me and him will drive down there and
Absolutely.
pick it up.
There you go. There you go. You heard it here first.
You heard it here first. Yeah, it's
All
going
right.
to
I'll
happen.
trade you 2 other machines for it.
I
Once
see
there's
your
the
forehead
B,
and raise you 2 BAS 415.
I think he has a winged thing that he wants to give you.
Caterpillar.
Mhm.
There we go.
There's that sling blade thing.
Mhm.
All right, folks. Well, that is all the comments we currently have. We're at an
Man.
hour and 38 minutes. You
You guys
could have
are
watched a
amazing.
movie, but you watched this.
I mean, you know what? Honestly, me and
It's
Matt were
always
talking
good.
about this the other day. We were like, we need to just start a podcast that's
Yeah.
no video, it's just straight audio,
Oh, totally.
and
Totally.
it's just us going off on random subjects.
I
And
love it.
I think this would be an excellent
Welcome to
episode
podcast number
1.
one.
There you
Yeah,
go.
There we
on
go.
podcast number
We've
1.
got it already
I
in
mean,
the bag.
I
We're
wish we
gonna rip
wouldn't
out
have
the
named
video.
the show we do the needle bar because the needle bar would have been perfect
Oh,
for
yeah,
this.
that would be perfect.
Yeah.
But
It's a good one.
it's too
Why don't
late,
you call
so
it
we're in
reciprocator?
Jerry Lee.
That's trademark.
That's
We don't do
trademark.
that here.
That's
Oh,
we're not doing that,
we'll
So
call
we're
it
just
presser foot.
The needle bar, because we had drinks.
Oh,
I
yeah.
understand, but you can't do it twice.
You
I'm
have
trying
to
to help
pun.
you.
There's no way to do it without
It's-
the pun.
You got the Needle
Okay,
Bar
then-
Live
Never
and the
mind.
Needle Bar podcast.
There you go.
You know what?
Needle bar 2.
I think we're only like 10 sessions into that needle bar, so we'll just go strip all that
No,
the
you can-
edits out of that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Or actually, we'll just call this 11.
We're this 11.
This
You
is
guys are
11. The
so
first
awesome.
We
one.
used to do it with the 2 other guys, and I actually did like the audio 2 other guys. The only thing I'll say is like the take up. I do so much like stuff on screen. I could never you're right. You almost have to have your own separate section where you plan not to do something visual.
Mhm.
Because,
Yeah.
it's so rough
You
otherwise.
guys are
I
great.
mean, when I sit down, I have to make sure that my 3 fidget toys are on the desk because I'm going to drop 2.
Hey, look at that. Should we do that one?
Yes, we should do it.
Renee says, laughing out loud at all of this.
Well, we have had an awful
thank
lot
you.
of
It's
fun.
been fun. Ramona says, y'all have a good night. This has been terrific. Thank you for this
Thank
week.
you
Thank
so
know
much
what's
for
funny?
coming
They
on.
think
This
we're
is
ending.
awesome.
Thank you.
Well, I thought we were, but
I
we
mean,
don't have to.
we were just waiting until the comments ran out. Now they started back up again. So
If you comment again, that's the air we breathe, guys. We'll be back on it.
Yeah,
watch
watch
you
out.
go.
Ramona says your podcast will be called the Neil Bar, so she actually was already on top of that.
you know what? I think we're just gonna do that because it's basically gonna be us sitting next to a mic with a beer, a
Yeah.
whiskey,
That
my
doesn't sound
My tea.
my Coca-Cola and Jerry Lee's specialty.
Yes. What's in that?
It's your specialty.
Oh, and
Um,
Letty says, "Ciao, guys. Safe travels, everyone."
Enjoy
Letty,
your
same
by the way,
squirrel.
it was a true joy to meet you, Letty.
It
Thank you
was.
for
It
coming,
was.
and everybody loves Nerd Sippy. It was great. So
Yes.
Yeah,
thank you
you
for
know,
bringing that.
We
along.
enjoyed it all. It
that
was
that
fun.
Sippy logo, that
That's
was
the
one
best.
of the
You know, I have to
best.
say, I was uniquely honored when Letty drew that, and then when everybody took over it and they were running it, and Frank did his part, and Mike made his hat. That filled me up. And then you made the cup. It's true. You guys they lasered the cup and sent that to me, and so I've got my tumbler
Got
and
it.
Sippy on it.
Letty,
I was
post
just
a picture
loving
of
it. It was
that
super
jacket
cool.
with all the signatures.
Yeah, please, Letty, take a picture of the jacket.
Yeah, I wanna
Oh
see
yeah,
you,
we
Matt.
gotta see it.
Please.
I mean, I
Send a
got to know
picture.
everybody she
Yeah.
met because every signature's on there, and they'd be like, "Oh, I didn't see them."
So
I'm so
cool.
glad. I
It was
can't
so
believe I
cool.
didn't
That was
see them."
such a great. I've never seen anybody do
Plus,
that.
I'm going to say, if you do, like I was, when I first started in the industry and I finally started meeting people from the magazines, like I had no input for months, and then I finally started seeing the magazines. The first time I talked to people in the magazines, and actually Jerry Lee's one of these, because I took over a column that Jerry Lee
Yes.
used to write
Mm-hmm.
back in the day. And I remember meeting everybody and going, wow, you're the person from the magazines.
know.
Like, you're real. And I'm like, if you ever wanted to see like the list of embroidery royalty from the people who do all the shows, her jacket's got everybody's signatures
does.
on
It
it.
really
You know what?
does.
When I met Christine, so when I started
Yeah.
making patches, I called Enmark,
Yeah.
and Christine, like, she spent probably a good
Yeah.
hour and a half on the phone with me
Wow.
talking over stuff,
Nice.
and she
Yeah.
helped me pick products, and so like when I met
Christine's
Christine,
She is.
you know what
very
popped in
nice.
my head?
Like,
Yeah.
that's from Christine from the phone.
Yeah.
And like
right?
when I saw her, I'm like, I talked to you on the phone.
I've heard your
She's
voice.
like, oh, hi.
She's like,
But you
oh,
know what? I know
cool.
you from the phone. You know,
Yeah,
people
totally.
remember that, and you may not remember them, but still, they put
When
that.
you make
name
an
to
impression on
Yeah.
somebody.
Yeah, I made an impression on Christine. She's like, stalker.
But
no,
I'm
that-
breathing heavy on the other end.
He was just way
I thought I was
excited
avoiding
about
you.
patch material. He was just like, oh man, that probably took
But,
me. Yeah, I
but
gotta
you
get
know
that
what?
right now.
Like honestly, when I found Enmark, that was
Yeah.
back when everywhere I turned it was trade secret, and to
Yeah.
find somebody that was like,
Oh,
oh,
totally.
yeah,
Talk
this
to
is
you.
the patch
Yep.
stuff. This is the you
Yeah.
go here. You
I'll
get
send you a
everything.
sample.
I'm sad
Yeah.
she's not
Yeah.
there anymore. I have to admit, I'm sad she's not there anymore because she was really the heart and soul of that. But I will say, Ensign Emblem is who runs Enmark. If you guys don't know, the Enmark materials come from a big emblem producer. That's what they're from. Ensign Emblem is the parent company of Enmark. So especially back in the day when Christine was running it, she was giving you really the straight dope on patches. I mean, that's from an emblem producer that makes mass amounts. So
And
it's
that-
pretty cool.
You know,
Yeah, it really
to
was.
find somebody that like me and Matt met because me and him both were going through the same trade secret crap. We'd ask
Yeah.
somebody, it was trade
Yeah.
secret, and like he
It's
asked me,
ridiculous.
and I gave him an answer. I was the first one that gave him an answer. He
Yep.
was like,
Wow.
Yep, that's true.
Well, that's how you two met.
yeah.
And I met you through Needlies when you asked for group discount.
Mm.
I
Based
met
off of my review.
you without
review.
knowing that I met you
Yes.
Yeah.
when I awarded you an award.
Yes.
And we met. Wow.
Yeah, no, the
Yeah.
only time
Aaron, you're
after
gonna
I
date
was-
yourself now.
After
We
I was-
met.
no, this is true. After I had already been digitizing commercially for a little while, I was like in my first year. Finally, somebody said, "Oh, we'll pay for you to do a class," and I went to a Floriani class, and that's
There
where
you
we
go.
met. We went to see
Yes.
Walter Floriani.
Yes.
You know what?
We were
so,
in Florida.
yeah.
Honestly, when Sam asked me to do the panel, I had no idea it was paid. When I got the email,
Oh, yeah,
it was like,
totally.
it's paid. I was like, And they're
Nice.
paying me too.
Talk about
And
when
you gotta go
and when you first do
Classes for
that, I'm
free?
gonna say this,
And
guys. And when you first
I
get
had
one,
to
you
pay?
feel like that, and then the next time you're like, I have to pay to fly out to get what now? Then it's not so cool later. But the first time you're like, awesome.
You're gonna pay me to talk embroidery.
Like I was just
Yeah, it's
excited
super
to
cool.
come talk embroidery,
Oh,
and
I
then they
agree.
said, "And here's money for it." And I was like, "Wait, what?"
Oh, I know. Not enough to get you by, but it is good to have somebody take care of you at all, and also that they value what we do.
Yep.
That's nice. Though I will
Yes,
say,
it is nice.
when they value us some more, it's very nice. I'm just gonna say, those of you who like the Dax shows are very much.
I can already see this.
But yeah,
That Eric's going to be up there, and he's going to pull up his dream big, and in the corner it's going to say Venmo at.
cash
You
at me,
really
guys.
like
Cash
it.
at me. I'm
Let
good.
me know.
That-
Well, hey, a lot. If you're wondering why there's speakers who do consultations in the same town they're traveling in, it's because
That's
they're
right.
trying desperately to pay for their tickets to their the
Yes.
place they're going.
Yes.
Traveling's expensive.
Because let me
It
tell you
is.
guys, this is my vacation. I'm paying for to come out here, but that's what I want to do. I want to see you guys. So that's what it is, you know.
Well, you guys are great.
And Letty says, "I'll post a picture in the morning of the jacket.
Yay.
It will get framed from my
Oh,
shop.
yay,
That is
fun.
awesome.
Awesome.
That is awesome.
Hold on to our signatures.
Yeah,
They're going to be
please.
worth
After
Right,
we all write our
someday.
manifestos and burn out,
our manifesto.
it'll be awesome.
Eric, I think manifesto is the wrong word to use here.
It's the one I meant."
Manifest.
Ramona said, "You are all celebrities to us out here," and I would say honestly,
You guys
we
are
wanted to meet.
celebrities
Yeah,
to
we
us.
wanted to meet you guys too. And
We
the
want
people who
to.
are on the comments all the time, we want to see you guys.
We want to know
talk
who
to
you are.
We're excited
You're
to
our
meet the
family.
people
You know what?
behind that.
Yeah.
Face, name to face.
It was
like
super
I
cool.
can see
we loved
pictures.
it. It was so
and-
awesome.
And I'll be honest, I was super excited because all of a sudden, Letty came up to me with her mask on and she said, "You don't know who I am, but you're about to know who I am." And she turned around and I was like, "Letty!" she had the Sydney jacket on. I was like, "Oh my God, Letty, you're the best." And so I probably reacted more to her than she reacted to me. I was like, Letty's here. She's got the jacket on. It's awesome. So no, we want to see you guys. I
Yeah.
mean, seriously, it's not. And honestly, we're all just a bunch of embroiderers.
Yeah, we all just bleed thread just
We
like
just,
you. We all work our butts off just like you.
We
And
put our thread
We-
knits on one cone at a time.
We-
Everybody else
We
thread
do.
each one of those needles once a
just
Yeah,
one
like
needle
that.
at a time.
That's
one
bad.
painful thread path at a time.
That's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We check the kids just like you.
One bulldog hat at a time. What? Anyway, we
Brr, brr, brr.
all right, folks. I think the
We're Robbie or
control
something.
laptop is about to
Well,
actually die.
we have
Oh yeah, his
We have
his
13 more minutes until 2 hours.
But his
2
thing
hours.
is dying.
Yeah, I need to
Yeah.
plug in, or we
We
will
can plug in right
lose it.
there.
Yeah, we can plug in if you want to, so we can grab it.
Oh, we can always plug
Okay,
in.
all right.
Wired for
Hey, I'm good. If we're wired, I'll keep going.
There you go.
People
I
are
mean,
dropping out. I mean, viewership is at all-time lows.
Well, I think that's because they thought we were ending. They were like, "Wait, we're
Oh,
not."
I thought we were.
It's like an
We did.
amusement park. We
Power
don't care.
Still not. What is
So you
going
know what?
on,
It's-
folks?
Maybe
Maybe
you're not
it's even
plugging
on
in
that.
on your
I
thing.
think my. Nope, you're right.
That's
Oh.
All right, there we are.
Yay!
How
I
many
fixed
There we
it.
are.
years does
Power's
it
back
take
on.
to plug in a computer?
At least 5.
Good thing we're all nerds.
There we go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
Oh
people
my lord!
No,
that
totally.
really understand, like, we do this. It's like
Yeah.
we talk. I had somebody once say to me, "You can cut the nerd stick," and I looked at him like,
Who said
not
that?
"What
Shtick.
stick?"
It's
Yeah,
not shtick.
like they.
Dorks. Like,
You know,
We're
I-
legit dorks. It's fact.
I dig into stupid things
yeah.
just because I want to dig into stupid things.
Maybe they're just jealous.
Here's
They're not
the
nerds.
proof, folks. Here's the absolute proof. We went to sit down at a panel where we were about to talk embroidery, and we sat with Sam and started talking about other embroidery topics before the panel started. We on our own, with nobody asking questions, we got into other topics before anybody showed up, and we're just still talking shop. It started before we were there. As soon as everybody left, the 3 people who were still there kept talking shop, and then we met up at a table and talked more shop. Like, this
Yep.
stuff never ends.
And it's like what you guys do.
Yeah.
We do. We just
There we go.
breathe and eat and sleep thread.
You know,
I mean,
a
it's
lot
a
of
passion.
A lot of people, I told Justin this.
Yeah.
When I lay down in bed at night and I close my eyes, I picture pentagraph movements.
Do you really?
I do, and
I keep these
sometimes
designs in my head.
and
when
sometimes
I
I
think you need to go
see
see mental health.
a new. Sometimes I. This is my decompress, and sometimes I see a new like pattern sequence, and I go, "Oh, I need to write that down."
This is how bad it is. Jeff and I dream about 3D techniques to beat each other. And then
Do I hear Puff Pro?
Your dreams are
Puff Off
classified.
2 coming up?
Probably.
Just so you knew, you're losing.
I hear it gone.
There's the stuff I've shown you, and there's the stuff I haven't.
oh, okay.
Here's what I'm going to say about
We'll hold this one this far away.
Yeah, right.
Puff Off 2 is
Well,
going down.
this is what I teach in my classes. No lie, everybody talks about how is it going to be when you start getting it, and I'm like, no, really. When you start thinking about this stuff all the time, it's like the Matrix. You're like, whoa, Neo. All of a sudden, like I know kung fu. You're going to look everywhere.
Are you going to take
like,
the red cone or the blue cone?
Yeah, every billboard you see, you're starting to break down the fonts.
Yes,
The edges and stuff, the
How can
pictures,
I
the photographs,
divide
and
it in
you're
the
like, how to
middle?
handle that gradient that's
Yes,
on that shape.
yes, it's like,
And suddenly the
that's
whole
too
world
skinny.
just turns into stitches around you.
It
You know what?
does.
Non-embroidery people, when
True.
you're out with them,
Yeah.
and they're looking at something, they're like, "Oh, that looks pretty." And you're like, "Yeah, that's
wonder
small,
how-
aerial, rounded."
Yes, 100%. Everybody asks me. That's the thing I found out on our Skype for Brilliance. That's always the thing. It's like, oh, somebody has a font. Ask Eric. I went to classify a bunch of the fonts that we had, and they're like, "Oh, what did you do?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, check out check out this spreadsheet that I did." And the spreadsheet breaks down style, classification of font, original typeface,
Nice.
Jeez.
Nice.
TTF, and I did. I'm telling
I
you,
love it.
85-90% of that font. Of the font typefaces all out of my head.
Man.
I just knew the typefaces dead cold.
Helvetica,
Wow.
everything.
Wow.
Helvetica.
Or Comic Sans. I mean.
Comic Sans. Yes, Comic Sans are the.
Oh,
No, I
my
don't
God.
like Comic Sans. I have to say, it's
Bubble
not
letter.
If they would just cross-pollinate, that would be
It's
the
true.
best font.
If you want a comic font, I recommend Nate Picos has Anime Ace. It's a fantastic comic font. Go check out his stuff. He's an actual comic book letterer, and all of his
Oh,
fonts
cool.
look cool.
Oh, wow.
But-
Link in the
There you go.
description, maybe.
Lincoln.
Well, maybe we can put links up. I have to admit, absolutely, fonts are a big thing for me. If I were going to go back and just get another useless degree, and yes, another useless degree.
Is there a degree in fonts?
No, but
There
there's
I would be a typographer.
There
yeah,
should be a
I'd
digitizing
master
degree.
things.
actually
Oh,
there
yeah.
should be.
Would love to.
There should be.
Would love to.
I love fonts. My nickname used
The
to be
Embroidery
Font
Nerd
Queen.
University.
Yes.
Yes.
Embroidery
All I
accredited.
did was
Hey,
was
just so
create
you
fonts.
know, that's trademarked already.
Yeah,
Wait.
do we need to buy that domain?
What,
Get it.
font
too?
queen?
Get
Wait, what are we buying?
it. No, it's trademarked
Oh,
already.
Do we,
By the way-
do we gotta announce this one that we just
What
got?
is it?
You buy it first, then we'll talk about
I'd
it.
say
I already
really love
did.
this.
No,
I really
buy
love
the
this
next
for
one, and then we'll talk about it.
Okay, no one.
Yeah, nobody buy it at this. Nobody buy the URL we're talking about.
So but we'll
Yes.
announce that one. We now own the domain needlebar.bar.
Nice.
I
Nice.
think we should have just bought needle.bar.
Yeah, Ramona.
Yes.
I love this though. Ramona
Yes.
says, "I have no real people at home that talk my language
That's
here,
true.
but I have all of you."
How do you
Yeah.
And
spell,
you know that's true.
how do you
That's and
spell
that's,
university?
it takes us back to
You and I.
how embroiders are an entire family.
Oh, we
Like
could do embroidery nerd university
Uh,
or embroidery nerd university.
I
Why don't we just
guys,
do embroidery nerd dot
He's always buying a domain.
You
We're
can get
sitting here,
right.
he's over there buying.
Right.
Well,
But,
I
oh
mean,
my God.
that's the best shopping time. While we're doing it, there's the 8-second delay, so we have
Oh,
8
yeah,
seconds
we have
before
to
we
go
say it
fast.
for him to buy it before they name
This
it.
is impulsive shopping.
If I didn't have this outlet, Ramona, I'd be driving my wife crazy, and she'd be like, "What? Did you digitize what?"
Same thing.
I've gone into, so I've started going into embroidery with into it with my wife, and I'm explaining things to her, and she goes, "Don't you think that Justin would appreciate this more?"
That's the nicest I don't want to hear about this I've ever heard.
Yes.
No, my wife flatly just tells me, she's just like, "Really? Is this what you do?"
We're doing this again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So when Jeff and I first met and on the phone, our first conversation was 3 hours.
Somebody wouldn't stop talking embroidery. I'm not going to point any fingers,
Oh,
but
We've done many of those over the years ourselves, so yeah.
That guy.
Yeah.
And
Done.
she
this
points
girl.
at Matt.
It's done.
You,
She points
And
at that guy, Jeff.
you, and me.
You got that, Adam?
People were doing that all day today
Stop
because
calling
you
me
guys,
out.
you guys were all
I
having
look
their nerd
nothing
stuff.
like you.
Everybody was confusing all the nerds, so everybody's like,
Pretty nerdy.
"Oh, hey, Matt's got a chair." I was like, "Justin,
Yeah.
Justin's got it." That's
You know what? Like, honestly, I'm really looking forward to the trade show without masks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there were a few people that I met that they were masked all the time, and I'm not saying that I didn't want them to be.
it's
You know, I
sure.
totally respect that, but it's just going to be a different thing when you walk in and you get a seat. Like Jerry Lee said, they were smiling. No, you couldn't because they were in a mask. You know, it's just it's going to bring.
one.
Yeah,
You still
it's
see
just
it
going
with
to
the eyes,
bring
but
back
we
just a
need
little
more.
bit more of the facial expressions.
Yeah.
But
it was so
it's
good.
going to make it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
But you know, this is coming from a guy who hasn't left my house in a year and a half because they screamed COVID.
And then here he is, and now he's going to go to Long Beach.
In theory,
Oh,
Jerry
yes.
Lee.
Okay.
Hey,
well,
if somebody says come
Sponsored
talk
by
it,
Cruft Pros.
come talk it,
You're
wherever
going.
I'll be there.
We will all be in Long Beach.
We'll talk after this too.
Yes.
We'll talk after this too. There's always possibilities. And the thing I've always said, I really like doing that panel today, and we all get along, and I get invited to do stuff a lot. I think I would love to do more panels. So we'll
Man,
have to talk.
I really enjoyed the panel.
The panel was fun.
Like
I did too.
honestly, everybody,
Yeah.
this is what the panel was.
Yeah,
this
like,
right here, just
you know,
talking, embroiderers talking.
Slightly
Except more
fewer
PG.
tool jokes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just gonna say slightly fewer tool jokes.
Yeah.
And-
And-
but you know
No
what?
round table stuff.
Yes.
You know, the questions came
Darn it.
in. We
Yeah.
spent our best advice on them, and it's interesting that you get people that have done it as long as Jerry Lee and Eric
Me too.
and Justin.
And
It's
And-
neat. It's neat to
and
see that at that
Yeah.
stage and at that stage and at that stage and at this stage and at that stage, we all kind of have the same. You know what? When we started, it should have been, and ironically, it's the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah.
Like it
And it will always be.
it will always be.
Which just made me. I felt a little tired there for a second because I went, "Oh, but we teach in small lettering for the rest of my life."
Eric, I was really
Small
trying
lettering
not
and
hard not to
specialty
say
threads.
when I've been in it as long as Eric. And
Oh,
so
I
I
do,
put
it's
it in
fine.
Jerry Lee first.
Well, we've been about the same period of time.
Well, how long
Yeah.
have you been in?
20, a
I've
little
been
over
in
20.
almost 25.
Yeah, we're right in between. Because I'm like,
We're right on.
So-
I've been
we got
digitizing
Trump
for 20,
over
and
there.
I'm like
What,
22.
you're 27, aren't you?
27.
So you know what?
27.
At
20
25,
digitizing, 22 embroidery.
at
27.
25 years, isn't it
Yeah.
25 that it's officially a life sentence?
He's been
I'm almost there,
clicked
but you
in.
got it for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that's the thing. And that's one of the things we were talking to Justin. So we were talking when I was blogging longer than you had been, but then I asked you how long you digitized, and I'm like, oh crap.
Well,
Like I'm talking to you like you don't know what's going on because so many beginners ask me stuff, and I was like, oh no, he's totally knows what he's doing.
Well, one thing that I really
Yeah.
want to say that I appreciate is that
Yeah.
when I came in, and when you came in,
Yeah.
there weren't many people sharing, and
No.
we were in the Walter Fleury Fun Club.
Yeah, that same
Yes.
year I had somebody
Yeah.
buy me his class and other stuff because they were trying
Yeah.
to like support my
Yeah.
new stuff I was already doing.
your
It was
addiction.
so cool.
You're
Yeah.
supporting your
That's
addiction.
cool. The group, and once again, the group was the thing.
Yeah.
The group
And
was
so
the
we
thing. They were
did
great.
that, and so that's where it started. But the reason that Walter's group was so incredible is because nobody was sharing anything. You would try to get information, and people would rather slice your throat
And I'll
than
say, like,
share.
outside of that, because I mean,
terrible.
and that's like I talked with Brian about this. Brian has been saying this forever. There are no secrets. And
There are
Brian,
no
from Brilliance.
secrets.
You talk about how he writes his manual. He wrote a manual for the software. But the manual for the software teaches you how to digitize, and it teaches you all this other stuff.
Like, I mean,
Word.
honestly,
it's ridiculous.
I have told
He
people,
shares
they're
everything.
like, I want to learn to digitize. Do you have a cheap ebook or a cheap
Yeah.
book that I can get to teach us to digitize?
Totally.
Go download the Embroidery user manual.
That's ridiculous. I mean, and Brian, like I said, and he's of that kind of era as well. Like he started this pretty early doing his stuff because he was in the home stuff that's accounting in that industry, where it's like we talked about that with him, and he's like, oh yeah, no. When I started teaching, nobody did it, and when I first started teaching, people weren't really listening. They were sending the wrong people. They were sending technicians to class to learn.
geez.
They weren't digitizers, and it took time for that to happen. And I'll say, without telling tales out of school, when I started teaching, I started sharing everything with everybody, blogging about everything I learned, and I had old school digitizers really give me the business about that. They
I
did
bet
not
they
like
did.
it.
No.
I had one of them from my town literally come to my shop to dress me down about it.
Wow.
She gave me the shop to dress me down, but here's what I'll say: this is probably the best compliment I've ever had when I was young in this business. And she went and started looking through all my stuff. She's like, "Well, these are all right. These are pretty good, but you really should be." And she started back in on me, and I was like, That's the best begrudging compliment I have ever had.
And you never forgot it.
I never did because
She didn't wanna give
she
it.
was a stitch by stitch digitizer.
Wow.
She was
wow.
a data stitch puncher, and so for
I-
me that is like I was
Board and
like, yeah, a real board and puck puncher. They do control like nobody.
Yeah.
And
they
I was
do.
actually, when she said the stuff was good that I was pulling out of honestly QVT at the time, I was like, that's pretty awesome. I'll take it.
And I came
I'll
up
take it all
under Walter. Walter was my mentor, and also Lee Caroselli. So
Yeah.
they were both board and puck digitizers, and that's why
Yeah.
I think that we got the education that we got. And I don't know who your mentor was.
The shop owner that I work for.
Oh, that's
it
right.
was a
That's
fam-
right. That's right. The one you.
It was a
you
family
remember.
No, the
Yeah.
first embroidery shop that I worked for was a family member that owned the shop, and she
Yeah.
actually had an in-house digitizer, and I used to do the art prep for her.
Ah.
So were you doing like cartooning?
Well, yeah, at the
Wow.
time I was in college
Yeah.
for architecture, so I had the graphic side of things.
Oh
Drafting
my
it.
architect! Oh my gosh!
And she kind
That's a
of
far cry from that.
I
He's going to
took
help
my,
us build Nerd University.
my technical
love
skills
it.
as far as drawing, and she
Yeah.
taught me
I love
to put
that.
it in stitches. So
Well, that's the awesome thing is people who don't know, if you guys are new in the business and kind of don't know the previous side of this, back when there was a separate job. There was the person who did cartooning or drafting, and then there was the puncher who was going to drop all the stitches on, and the drafts person or the cartooning person put all the notes for where stitches were going to go and drew it and put it out as a 6-to-1
So
ratio.
Yes,
Yes.
it was 6-to-1. You punched it 6-to-1.
I was blowing them up, and her digitizer at the time
Awesome, man.
would come to me
Yes,
and say,
yes.
"All right, you
Awesome.
see these curves here. This is where I need to be punching," and I'm drawing, the angled lines and stuff for her, and the corners and whatnot. And it took me a while to actually comprehend and see
That's
my
awesome.
artwork as stitches, and it was having it there, having seen the
That's
machines
an
run.
amazing
Yeah.
experience, though.
Yeah.
I have an
Wow.
idea.
I mean-
so you can do the live discussion we talked about before, and the live next week, you're going to show us how you used to do it.
So I mean,
Oh, I love it.
I'll be honest with you. I have been looking for density wheels
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I want to do one design in that process from paper, blow it up 6-to-1. Because if you don't do it, like if you break it down stitch by stitch, if you put all of the art prep into it, you put all of the drawing the lines, and then you
understand.
go and you
Really
manually
good.
punch every stitch,
You
you're going to come
understand.
out of that with an understanding that you didn't have before.
And it is going to pop you places that you never.
I'll admit
never
I have one
guessed.
piece that I did on somebody else's equipment, and I did that.
Oh, really?
One piece I did a monogram, and it was not a big deal because it was just like I don't have time to do a full piece. If I'm plotting
Wow.
fills, this is not going to work out because they've only let me have a very short amount of time on their equipment.
Right.
And I did one monogram, a little letter with a crown on it. But at the same time, considering the software I was using at the time, the densities were perfect. Everything was balanced. Every short stitch was right where I wanted it because I dropped every single one.
Yeah.
That and the same thing. People who've seen some of my work, who've seen the big Pizza Man logo, as everybody calls it. It's the Dion's Pizza logo that I did for them. That they still run, by the way. This thing is like 20 years old. They still run it. And this logo, everybody's like, "Oh, this great logo. What software did you use it on?" And it was that DOS software because I dropped every single stitch.
Wow, that's
Right.
what's
All the stitches in it were manual.
And I can tell
It's
everybody
incredible.
here
It's
this:
ridiculous.
if I can find the density wheels and I can find the other tools that
Oh,
were
yeah.
used, I will
Try
do a
that.
YouTube video. I will
Oh,
time lapse it,
awesome, yeah.
YouTube video the entire thing.
That's awesome.
That'd be
Because I want to not only do I want to understand it,
Yeah.
I want people who've done it before or people who are doing
Yeah.
it now be able to say, look at how it was done.
Oh, sure.
Right.
Because like we see the still pictures now,
Sure.
but to actually quantify how much time and prep and thought went into it,
Yeah.
like I guarantee if there was a YouTube video out there of somebody doing that entire process,
Yeah,
I'd have watched
yeah.
it.
wow.
Oh, and I'll
Yeah.
say flatly, I also understand. When I got dressed down, I understand why people had those secrets at the time.
Yes.
Because it was immense amounts of work.
It was.
It was. And they were getting paid a lot more.
Well, yeah, I was going to say
They
because
were.
of that.
Yes.
because of
Very
that,
Digitizing used to be very expensive.
absolutely,
Yeah, it was.
and to get that experience and to kind of open that door into being taught, here it is from art, and this is how you need to
Yeah.
think to put into stitches. There was actually a gap before I even actually started digitizing myself, because we did lose that digitizer. We subbed it out to another somewhat local in Phoenix digitizer, who probably is the best digitizer I've ever seen as far as his work.
Mhm.
And it went from me stepping into the person, you know, editing what I needed to in the software at the time, or just, you know, just watching the designs run in production, his designs, to when I started digitizing, it was actually the start of the on-screen digitizing.
Yes.
The software was
Yeah.
coming out with the on-screen digitizing. So I skipped digitizing in that process. I was doing the art prep, but by the time I got there, I, you know, watching.
Well, you had the biggest jump though. You
Yeah.
had a big jump on it because you already
You
knew
did.
stitch
Right.
angles. You already knew how
Right.
to turn a corner. You already knew all that stuff before you ever touched on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I was able to,
Yeah.
when I started really watching his designs and kind of going from that, wow, this used to be really cool, to, oh my gosh, this is beautiful work.
Yeah.
And I can call him up and be like, why did you do that here on this design you did for us?
Awesome.
And he'd be like, oh, I'll tell you.
Nice.
That's awesome. That's
That's
fun. It's
really
good that you
nice.
had somebody like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it was not common, especially in that time.
No, it wasn't. But Walter was like that. Walter spilled his guts. Walter spilled his guts.
You know what I find
Lovely.
interesting? We had people drop off because they thought we were ending, and now we've got
More people back.
back.
Well, here,
They're
we
like,
have a couple
So now we
comments
might have to
too.
go 2.5 hours.
Oh,
all right, let's see the
We don't
customer.
know.
Good. Well, let's
We're
see
just
the-
here.
Eventually, I will disappear because I had a real hairy drive at 1 a.m. last night.
I mean,
So
you know
I
what?
will-
Honestly, everybody, when
Yeah.
this ends, this
I
is
will-
what we're gonna be
Yeah.
like. We're probably still gonna be sitting here talking embroidery
Probably.
as we go.
Probably.
Yeah.
As like Eric tried to leave for like, I don't know, 3
Yeah,
times,
you
4
did
times
have the
last
yeah,
night.
you
I
did.
really did try.
You
I
tried.
really
He was
tried.
like at the door, not kind
Kept
of
trying. You
close.
kept trying.
This time, right?
Not to do it again. Too.
But that,
I'll
see,
have
you
to.
see the problem? Or
Yeah.
no, it's not the problem. You see how fun we are at embroidery?
It's
like
not
just-
a problem. It's the passion.
It's
It
the
is.
passion. It's
It is.
exactly the passion.
You
It
started
is.
talking about tire irons and
Oh my god, and gluing
Bulldogs.
grills on Cadillacs.
Yeah,
Glue.
no,
Real good.
we're all good.
Yeah.
We don't have to talk about
All right, let's grab the comments.
Comments from Ramona, and I love this. My husband tries, but when I hit him with the 2.5 millimeter lettering and 40 weight, he wants to come back with the CB radio tech work. I'll say, hey, my wife is doing medicine and emergency stuff, so trauma medicine is what I get back, so I get paid back once in a while.
Well, I'll tell you, when I used to talk digitizing
Yeah.
to my when I was married to a tech, he found it very boring. I was like, how can you find digitizing boring? Then don't talk tech talk.
You know what? Like your wife's in the medical field,
Yeah.
and so I'm pretty sure you could probably talk medical field to all of us. We'd be like, we have no idea what you're talking about.
Pretty much.
My wife makes antioxidants for pet food. I can tell you guys more about rosemary than you would ever want to know.
It does not increase the memory. People says it does.
That's a
Swear to
different
God.
live topic.
That's that's next time.
Next comment.
Your wife's
That's
nursing
three
school.
Yep.
or
Yeah,
five.
so you two could probably hold a pretty good conversation.
Yeah,
Oh,
hospital
gosh.
politics
Your
is
wife?
always good.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the best kind.
I can do that, but I don't. But I could. But actually, I couldn't.
So we have a comment from Ramona talking about the kind of designs we should do. She says, you should do a farm tractor.
Tractor!
I don't know, guys. I don't know about tractors.
Color.
It depends on the tractor. I think,
Really?
some of
I mean,
them-
honestly, I think Matt has a couple.
Yeah, this is
I
possible.
actually did digitize a tractor. It is absolutely horrendous. I even put it on Etsy.
I even put it on Etsy. It was horrible. It's
It was
It
But I
sold
have
really
it,
well
I'll
for
release
zero
the design
cents.
to
The only
everybody.
problem is you have to be so careful about that stuff because you know copyright is always an issue with tractors.
I think I even recorded it live.
It's true. It's always
Yeah.
licensing and tractors.
You gotta be
Yeah.
careful.
But yeah, you gotta be careful with that
But
stuff.
then you can't read the wording.
Only because it hasn't been done by the tractor man. Hey, you know what? We don't have any problems with people doing whatever kind of digitizing they do for themselves and promote, honestly.
You know what?
Anyhow,
You'll find this interesting.
Yeah.
We were talking about this earlier.
sure.
There is a YouTube video out there that one machine manufacturer blurred out the logo of the other machine manufacturer and used that video as theirs. You can see the blurred out logo in the
I'll
crowd.
send it to you.
That's
I
so
have
good.
it favorited.
Oh my
Oh,
God!
that's
I tell you,
awful.
the things that go on in this industry sometimes. Is
We need a video on this. Oh, look, they have it. Scrub out
They
that
have
little
it. Let's just
watermark.
erase their name. with
Admittedly, I
whiteout.
told that story this time around, folks. Like, I finally had the absolute double whammy of digitizers hitting you up. Not only as a digitizer was a digitizer trying to sell me the same service I do, they tried to use my own images of my designs. So they're like, hey, would you like to get work like this? And I'm like, I kind of think I have work like that. I just got done posting that one. I have the file. Maybe
You know what?
need work like this.
Like honestly, I don't even think they look at they don't
No,
look
they
at
don't
what
look
you
at
do. They don't.
profiles, no.
They're just like
They
cold
scroll for
quality.
embroidery. Yeah, they search for embroidery. If embroidery is anywhere in your history, your title, your likes
Hashtag.
and dislikes,
Your LinkedIn.
your LinkedIn, wherever you are. No, like I said, LinkedIn for me right now is just I have an excellent opportunity
TikTok
to start
is next.
importing things. Yeah, I
We're
will
so
say
happy
this.
for you.
TikTok. The weird thing is, I now have. I think I'm in the tens of followers,
The
and I've
tens
never
of
posted
tens.
anything.
Oh, really?
How'd you get?
That's what I'm saying is I've never made a TikTok, and people have found my TikTok and are following it, waiting for me to make a TikTok.
You have
So I guess that's next
stalkers.
on your schedule.
Next on my schedule, I guess I have to make TikToks.
Yeah.
10 stalkers.
11 stalkers.
11 stalkers
No, not that one. No, okay.
in front of the machine while it's selling.
That's what everybody always says. That's what, and I get upset. about them.
Alexa, lock doors.
Yeah. I hate when everybody says it like, oh, TikTok, they're gonna dance with my kids. Everybody go watch some TikToks and realize that there's other stuff on there by now.
A whole lot.
Everybody who is my age, please stop saying, hey, is it me dancing with? No, it's
Alexa,
everything in the
play
world.
Welcome to the Jungle.
We actually have people we like who are watching.
You know what?
Yes.
I'm not gonna lie. TikTok
Yeah.
videos that are on point with a
They're
consistent
great.
topic. So
They're
like,
great.
if you do consistently embroidery
Yeah.
on your TikTok, you're gonna gain a lot of followers that want to follow embroidery.
Sure.
From what I understand, if you TikTok a lot of random things, you don't amass a large following.
No, probably because it's a hot mess. It's like hash. It's like, ugh.
No, you have to stand. Oh,
You
and I
have to
think
know
that's
what
true.
you want.
Focus and consistency has
Yeah.
always been the thing. And I'll say, people are accepting of even the oldsters if you have something cool to show. Trust
Yep.
me, they will watch 40 and 50-year-old people do TikToks. And we always joke around, oh, it's for the kids. Who are you selling to? A lot of the kids
we
now
all
have
kids?
money.
Yep.
I mean, come on.
I
No,
mean,
I'm a kid.
Anytime somebody goes, oh, millennials, I'm like, go check their random age in millennials again. Some time has passed since the last time you're complaining about them. They're the spending cap
What
right now.
could they call them biennials? Because now we're in 2020.
Biennial.
Biennials.
I think that's actually kind of a plant thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna be at
And
2
then we
hours
have
and
the
30 minutes.
centennials.
We're
now I
getting
have to
there.
admit I do like this. First, Ramona apparently is rolling and laughing and crying. Hey,
I
I
hope
feel
so.
that. I feel that. Letty also says, "Oh, the perfect TikTok." Ask Justin
about
about his
Wait a minute. It needs to be the Ask Justin about his tool challenge.
challenge. There we go.
Oh, okay.
I
Find
nominate
him.
Jeff Fuller.
Wait a minute. If the milk crate challenge can happen, we need the Ask Justin about his tool challenge.
So everybody, start
What have
like.
I done?
This is
I
it.
mean, do a real
Embroidery.
order. Definitely order a real
Embroidery.
file from him. Order real digitizing. Put all the real details. But at the end of every one of your orders, just make sure you ask him about his tool.
And then he
That's
can
all I'm
write a
asking
message in
The
the
challenge.
underway.
I got the challenge.
Just
Yeah.
to chat to you.
What's your challenge?
I'll tell you guys this right now, and this is
What?
This is
Not
good.
Right now.
wait,
5
it's
minutes.
September, so this is good for September of 2021, right?
Right
This
now.
month, if Justin gets over 100 different people that email him asking him about his tool, I will personally buy 3 needle-eases and give them out.
Yo, come on, it's on now.
It's on now. How many do we need?
Rip Justin's inbox. Come on, man.
Over 100.
Over
Over
100 different people.
in a month.
That's 3
All right,
needle-eases.
I'll start counting.
That's
100
3 needle-eases.
100
I'll
uniques.
buy them
He's
and give
asking
them out.
about his tool.
100 uniques, people.
Ask
Yeah,
about
you,
his
need,
tool.
you can't do it 100
Uniques.
times. Don't get funny.
Actually, you know what?
What?
3 needle-eases and 3 Puff Pros because
Yo.
they asked
Yeah.
about
They're
his
asking
tool.
about the
Yeah.
tool.
I
That's what
would
it should
personally
be,
buy
really.
3 needle-eases and 3 Puff Pros, and I will give them out.
And I'll
in their
personally
group.
send them
Yeah.
like I do.
I guess you guys hung out for
I will
that double
donate.
bonus
I'll
time for a
donate my
reason.
tool.
Yep.
Oh, see, he'll
There
donate the
you know
tool.
what?
That's a-
Paying it for.
One of those giveaways will come from his email.
there we go.
One person that asks him about his tool will get one. Will get one of those
There you go.
prizes.
It'll be a random,
Oh my god!
random
All right,
pick,
so
yes.
Random
Ramona
pick.
says we need to have the embroidery granny singing backup. Here's the thing: they don't really exist. The embroidery grannies don't exist. The
No.
one that we're talking.
So wait a minute, I got this. Hold on. This is perfect.
Okay, hold on.
Next
Oh,
year, or the next show we go to, Justin's shirt needs to say, "Ask me about my tool. Sign here."
Justin's like, I'm getting volunteered for more
Yes,
stuff
really,
than
we
I
need,
like.
okay, so now you're gonna have to.
So it'll be like Letty's
Okay.
jacket, but with "Ask me about my tool."
We just
And
need
so
to make
we'll
a big
just have-
jacket.
Just
with
do a
it.
Yeah,
QR
yeah.
code tramp stamp and he just lifts his shirt up and you just scan.
Oh, you guys are killing me. All right, Ramona says, "Is this being recorded?" Unfortunately.
Unfortunately, it's currently going to live on Facebook.
If you don't want it to be, file an FCC claim.
Absolutely. Yeah,
You
go
don't
ahead.
want it to be. Don't do
Copyright
that now.
strike.
We're into bonus.
We have now literally
Yeah,
gone
we've
double
got
time.
approximately.
2 hours
All
and
right,
15
so
minutes. All right.
everybody, let's go ahead. We'll cut off. We're gonna hard cut off.
For sure.
Anybody else want to say one more round before we go out?
Fine. Also, Matt never said his favorite thing he saw
I
on the show.
know.
What was
I
your
was
favorite
going to complain about it after.
What was your favorite
Sure.
thing of the show?
Yeah.
So, like everyone else, the ZSK was pretty damn cool. The new
Yeah.
Sprint 8.
And he liked
But
the
if I could have left there with anything, it would have been a laser.
Oh.
If I could have left
forgot
there with
about
anything,
that.
it'd have been
That
a
was-
loose. It would have been.
It would have been a laser, hands down.
If I could have left there with anything, it would have been an embroidery machine.
Well, I mean, we had to pay for these things, obviously, because I'd have left there with all the stuff. No, I'm going to say, honestly,
At 3:10 tomorrow, just
Yeah.
back your truck up
10 to
and say,
3,
"Hey
10 to
guys,
3.
the semi over there, that's full. You need
That's
to load the
fine.
rest in
And
my
when
truck."
when I was at the booth, they didn't even ask if I was interested, really.
And now
Yeah, no, like they.
And I was, but I mean, my bank account would have been. But
I mean, you know, you never know. You cast that.
I got
you
3
cast
days for that
net
check
out there.
So
if there was one big lesson from this, anybody who's run booths, it's that the person who shows the most interest in care is the most likely to get the business, and buyers were out here.
Yeah,
and
they
even
were.
during COVID, buyers were out here. So
They're always
it's going
out.
on.
And they came to spend, and they came here for a reason. The show was attended.
It really, that really was. I will say
Yeah.
that having gone to multiple shows this year, the first thing I thought, I walked onto the floor, and even though it was smaller, I heard the buzz of people in
Yeah.
a way that
And
I
today
had
was
not.
real busy.
It was pretty busy.
So it was. So we love
Lanyards
you.
everywhere.
Yes.
We appreciate you.
Nerds.
A whole
No,
bunch
but we definitely appreciate you guys hanging out
So
with us.
much.
It's been so fun that we've been able to sit here
Yeah.
and
Together.
go through all of
Yeah.
this stuff together and,
Face
and
to
with
face.
you guys.
We've enjoyed that.
You know, this is the first time we've all sat down face to face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a first.
So
and the last.
Well, maybe
Matt's
for
like,
you.
You never know.
Are you checking out there too?
What, you gonna like throw a coup or something?
I can move up. I can I
She
can
wants
come
that
too.
digit to go up.
No,
I
actually,
I want
Jerry
mine.
Lee, when Justin
This
asked
is
me
my
about that,
favorite
I was like,
ever.
Jerry Lee needs to be 13.
I actually 3 is my favorite number, so I like.
I'm
it.
glad you picked 3 then.
Say what?
Well, maybe we'll have a number 5.
You never know. You never know, people. I'm already the unofficial.
Throw it in the comments if we should have a number
It sounds
5.
like we're getting an engagement process going here.
Woo! Matt's going down on a knee every ball.
Will you be ours? Will you be ours?
Oh,
All right,
yeah,
everybody.
it's
Well,
all
I
right.
had a lot of fun with you, and it's been
We've
really
had
great
fun.
to sit
If
here.
we've
With
had
another
fun,
13
come back
minutes
again.
Matt's like that one guy that used car or no the infomercial.
But wait, there's more.
But
For
wait, we'll
only
send you
another
two.
$13.95, we'll add the undercoat.
And for a separate price, we'll include shipping of something.
Separate of the handling.
And that too.
You're right.
No.
It makes me just think everybody's like, oh yeah, we're all getting ready to go. There's always somebody who goes, are you guys going? And it's like, it's been 7 hours to go.
I have to shave again.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah, we're going.
I have the
actually.
second 5 o'clock shadow. I gotta go.
There's a second 5 o'clock.
Yes, it's the second 5 o'clock we've seen together.
It is actually.
But everybody,
Yeah,
you
it's been
know,
great.
with that, that is Eric Campbell. You can find him at ericcampbell.com.
This is true.
That is Jerry Lee Medeiros. You can find her at sunfacermfg.com. This is the Justin Armenta, owner and founder of JA Digitizing, and
Please
the 3D
ask
Puff
about
Pro.
his tool.
Come on.
Ask about
Two
his
cameras at
tool.
the same time.
There you go, 2 cameras at the same time.
And
I am
this
Jeff Fuller
It's Jeff
with
Fuller.
Fuller Embroidery Works and the Embroidery Nerd, and this
And that
is
is
Matthew Enderley
The
of
one and only.
Catchphrase Project Cobalt and the Embroidery Nerd. We'd like to thank you all for hanging out with
yeah,
us,
Project
and
Cobalt.
we will catch you guys later.
We will. Love y'all.
See
Good
ya.
night
Bye,
from
guys.
Tejas.